Hey now. Hey everybody. This is Johnny Beane and Texas Joe.
Hello,
hey,
everybody.
Man.
Hello.
Hey, good to see you. It's been a long time. We're gonna have a great time talking tonight. Welcome everybody. Johnny Beane. It is November 5th, 2021. About 8:10 Eastern, 5:10 Pacific, 7:10 Central.
Where I'm at,
where Texas Joe is. And welcome. You're watching Talkin Van Halen, the show where we talk Van Halen. I mean, what else is there? Is there anything else, really? Probably, but
we love Van Halen.
We do. We love Van Halen. So welcome everybody. And let's do this right. Let me say hello to our executive producers here on Johnny Beane TV on YouTube. They are the top tier of channel membership. We have a channel membership program here. Top tier executive producers. They are Dave Ennis, Vinyl Freak 5150, Mike Neese, Music Therapy Laz, Majestic PB and J Cat, Wayno, False Flag, Andy Carson, Michael B, R-Habs, The Chad, Lenny Lou and Mary, James Gum, John Moronic, Stephen Franklin, Michael Smith, the Captain, Thomas Santiago, Joe Christian, and Steve Carmichael. That is the top tier of channel membership here on Johnny Beane TV on the YouTube side. And again, if you'd like to become a channel member, click that join button below, right where there's 23 thumbs ups. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. And let's see. Any super chats will change the color of my lights. So if you see behind me, you got the guitar moire. Any donations towards the channel, towards these shows, will magically change the color of those lights in real time. So if you're watching this live, it's extra fun. Extra fun for you guys. We're also live on Facebook, Johnny Beane TV Facebook page, where we have Facebook stars, digital gift that helps in the production of these shows. And this is also a podcast. You can actually listen to this on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, Facebook, or Meta. Basically, anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to these episodes. Man, Texas Joe.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you. Now, really quickly, you guys, Texas Joe here. Can I call you Joe?
Yeah, Joe's fine. Texas Joe Valles. I got the
Joe
name
Valles.
when I was in California. I was working at a music store in Southern California, and they gave me the name Texas Joe over there because there was another Joe working there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and but yeah, Texas. Hello, everybody. Texas Joe Valles here.
Texas Joe is here, and we've been long time, like I want to say Facebook friends, maybe even MySpace. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean,
it's been literally just, I would say, at least a decade.
Yeah.
Of seeing your posts and your stories, and it's so great to. I know we chatted for about an hour yesterday.
And that was fun. Thank you. Quality time with you, Johnny. Right on.
Thank you, man.
I'm kind of selfish when it comes to people. I like to really get to know people and talk to them.
It's so great. It's so great to finally meet you. You know, and talk.
Thank you. Likewise too. It's
I've
a privilege and an honor.
Your posts for years.
You wave the Van Halen flag so high, man. I mean, you're up there. You know, the Van Halen radar on you is, you know, And I think people really love it, man. You're doing something really cool and noble. Right on.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So hey, really quickly here, and yeah, we're waiting for Jay Hannon, our other co-host. We're waiting for him. But really quickly, let's just say hello to some people in the chat here. We got T Sewell. We got R2R3 Locky Nut. We got Magic Man. We got Music Therapy Laz. Keith Campbell. Let's see. We got Tim Thomas. We got Josh Evans. Leo Safko. Vistalite 1972. Nightbot, of course, which is me.
Oh, right on.
A lot of people here. Thank you so much for watching. James G, Lindy Lynch, Thomas Santiago, Jim Ray Hawkins, Marky Effects. Yeah, a lot of people. We got 43 people watching currently. Thank you so much, you guys. Make sure to smash that thumbs up. And again, if this is your first time here, if you like Van Halen, this is the place you want to be. This is called Johnny Beane TV. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and have a great time.
We will.
Definitely. So while we wait for Jay, what I don't know. Do you want give people a backstory to your to you?
Yeah. Some people will, in the Van Halen world, I guess I'm in the periphery, and I was there when some things happened. But I only met Eddie Van Halen once, but yeah, I have some knowledge of the whole Van Halen universe, and some decent spots, some decent tourist spots for people to mentally check out. And like I told you yesterday, Johnny, I'm glad, and I'll give you the reason why later on. I want to share some of this with people little by little, but I got some good stuff for you all, some real good stuff. And we're going to go down some rabbit holes, but I think serious Van Halen fans will dig what I'm about to say, and what I, hopefully in the future when you invite me, we could talk about. But yeah, I grew up in South Texas, Johnny. I grew up. Some of your people might know this is kind of to some people it's a backwater, and it gets a lot of bad news, bad news, especially lately. But I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. I'm from Brownsville, Texas, all along the border. The Rio Grande Valley is considered South Padre Island, the area where Elon Musk now has his Boca Chica Beach, where Elon Musk has his rockets shooting off to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And back then it was just a backwater. You just take your acoustic guitar out there and sing Margaritaville, But Elon Musk showing up has changed all that and forced. Let's put it to you this way: South Texas was known as living behind the cactus curtain because everything was so backward. And this will go back to Van Halen, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But from South Padre Island, Brownsville, Boca Chica, all the way to Rio Grande City is considered the Rio Grande Valley. And of course, it's the border with Mexico and southern Texas. And it's its own world. It's its own culture. Most people are bilingual on the American side, the Texas side, and bilingual on the Mexican side, border side. A lot of people, it's hard for them to grasp this, but that's the environment I grew up with. And I grew up on a farm, a ranch, whatever you want to call it. So I never had a volume problem. Once I got my first Marshall stack, I always blasted it. And compared to other people in the United States, my neighbors would call concerned when my band didn't play and crank it up. They were waiting for us to rehearse and jam. Man. Yeah, it was crazy, And someone would call angry, "Hey, how come the boys aren't playing today? What the hell happened? Or why aren't they playing tonight? Instead of, they might call the cops to be concerned to get these guys turned on instead of to be played, I mean, where we're from.
That's awesome.
The life was slow. You watch the grass grow, you watch the cows out in the field. We literally, grew up on a farm, on a ranch. And when we cranked it up, we were rehearsing, but all the neighbors were listening, and the bigger the speakers we got, the more people would love it. And when they invite their friends and stuff they wouldn't come bug us, but they would be listening, and that we made a big noise, and that also goes back to Van Halen. But let me go back to Van Halen.
Sure.
I first heard about Eddie Van Halen and the band Van Halen in 1978, 79 when the Texas Jam came out. I had just started listening to
Okay.
rock and roll. And I had started listening to rock radio because I had heard soft rock before, but I didn't know the categories. And then I started hearing hard rock, and then I heard about the Texas Jam, and they had all these bands coming out, Heart and other people. But I remember when they said Van Halen, and then the riff for "You Really Got Me," da 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 da.
Thank you, Boner Jams.
That knocked me, and then I had already heard Queen, I'd heard Boston, a bunch of bands, Mountain,
Yeah.
that sound, sound. I was in 8th grade, and I was already thinking, well, Ace Frehley was my first hero, but barely by months, I got into Kiss, and I dug the Kiss thing. I dug Ace Frehley's sound, and about 6 months later, still in 8th grade, I believe, from 7th to 8th grade around there, Van Halen, Eddie's sound, the sound. It was like, man, it hit me, and it hit me hard, right in the heart and right in the head. It was something that I don't know why. And then I told my brothers, because my brothers are my band. We'll talk about that later. They also, something stuck a chord in your heart, when you heard that. And then David Lee Roth and all that. It was just amazing, bro.
And you guys are already playing then?
No. This is
playing it?
This is, I just decided to get a guitar. The Ace Frehley of Kiss.
Thank you, T. Sewell.
Yeah, Ace Frehley of Kiss and Eddie Van Halen, man. But when Van Halen, I was, I want to get a guitar, because I heard Kiss. But when I heard Eddie Van Halen and the Texas Jam announcement, and I hadn't heard Eddie Van Halen or Van Halen, and I didn't even have the sense to go get the record at the record store. I was just waiting by a little radio. It was a little tiny, one of those little transistor radios. But the sound was so
like
huge.
this?
Yes. Oh man, crazy. And I was just like, wow. I mean,
that's all this does.
Yeah. It was, and I had a red one too. So that's where it got me, and it hit me hard. And that summer, we transitioned, and I became a freshman in high school. And I think I was 15 at the time. And I went my first days the last days of August, 79, the first days of September, and I saw all these new kids, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. That whole world was like going to another planet, man. Like, it was ridiculous. It was crazy. As a little kid from the farm, turning into a teenager. We lived a clustered, a secluded life, So going to high school and all that, and I had this idea, man, I love Van Halen, I love Kiss. But the sound. And then I saw the T-shirts at school of all the people that went to the Texas Jam, and it had Van Halen on there. And wouldn't you know, the most T-shirts that were at school, and you're talking Brownsville, Texas on the border, and the Texas Jam was in Dallas, 7, 8, 9 hours away. And back then it was 55 miles an hour. So you can imagine it took almost a day, like a chuck wagon.
Oh, man.
It took a long time to get to Dallas. But yet all these kids in high school, had Van Halen T-shirts on, and I'm like, man, I'm going up the right path here.
Like actual Van Halen shirts?
Yeah, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, the Texas Jam, but not only did people have the Texas Jam shirt on, but tons of people had Van Halen T-shirts on. Oh, and then another thing, Van Halen had just played in Corpus Christi, so a couple of weeks into high school. So more people, in that first fall of 79, the fall, say my freshman year, there was tons of people with Van Halen T-shirts on, some because of the Texas Jam, and then because Van Halen played in Corpus Christi and San Antonio, and I didn't know none of this. I'm just this freaking kid on the farm. I'm barely getting, and then by the time I saw the people wearing the T-shirts, I had heard "Girl, You Really Got Me." I know the old radio station in South Texas. It was in Brownsville. It was KRIX 99.5, and they played the hell out of Van Halen, man. And it was like, whoa, And it was obsessive. It was obsessive. And then the kids in high school cruising, listening to Van Halen. Of course, you heard Peter Frampton, you heard Foghat, Molly Hatchet, and
Yeah.
Boston and Queen. Oh man, Boston, Queen, and Kiss.
Oh yeah.
But then Van Halen. After started seeing all these T-shirts. Oh, AC/DC. But man, Van Halen, in just by the time 1980 hit, January of '80, everybody was cruising and jamming to Van Halen. It was ridiculous that because a lot of people had gone and seen in the word of mouth. There was
yeah,
no
they changed it too.
Yeah, it was amazing.
They pretty much busted right onto the scene. I mean, I wasn't around then. I mean, not really. But I wasn't into. Yeah, I was too young.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was 15. I was 15.
But I can imagine, what that must have been like, and because I know a lot of people that picked up the guitar because of Kiss, because of Ace Frehley, thinking he was like man. But then once Eddie showed up, it's just totally like
Yeah, it was mind-boggling. It was mind-blowing. I've only had maybe 4 phases, and I've had some pit stops along the way, but four major mind-blowing just guitar players that just knocked me, and it had me to reassess what I do on the guitar, writing music, all that stuff. The first one was Ace Frehley of Kiss, and then just months later, 4 or 5 months later, Eddie Van Halen. Boom! It just hit me hard. And then because of Eddie Van Halen, Allan Holdsworth. Allan Holdsworth just knocked me out, and it was because of Eddie that I found out about Allan Holdsworth, because he was talking about him.
He was always talking about him.
Exactly, and I
read those interviews.
I bought that album, Road Games, and that knocked me for a loop. I thought it was electric violin when I first heard him, and then and then many years later in 1988. Well, it wasn't that much. It was from 80 to 88, 87, 88, around there. I was working at Radio Shack. I had already graduated high school. This guy really kicked my butt. Eric Johnson. I heard him on the guitar player little record, The Cliffs of Dover from Austin City Limits. Oh man, it was like hearing Eddie, a new fresh guitar player for the first time. Yeah, I'd heard Yngwie Malmsteen and stuff like that. It was cool. But those were increments. I mean, they were huge signposts in life, right? But Eric Johnson, man, oh my, and I kind of know Eric now. I live here in Austin, and Eric's very sweet, very nice guy, very badass, super friendly. I've met him a bunch of times, and we can deep dive into Eric also later on if you want.
Sure.
Matter of fact, next time I see him, I'm going to talk to him about his experience with Eddie, and I'll share it with the world. And I'll tell Eric, or maybe we can even get Eric later on. I don't know, on here.
Bring him over.
If we can, yeah, why not? I mean, I know his tech, his guitar tech is a good friend of mine, Bill Webb, and real nice guy. And I want to get Bill Webb on talking about Marshalls, but anyway, it was Eddie hit Ace Frehley, Eddie Van Halen, Allan Holdsworth, and Eric Johnson. But Eddie was always there, always there. He was I hate to say this because I love Ace Frehley, and I just saw him a couple weeks ago here with Alice Cooper. Kind of brought tears to my eyes.
You're telling me that, yeah.
He really kicked butt. And Nita Strauss and the guys with Alice Cooper were so amazing. It wasn't funny either. It was I loved it. Anyway, there's pictures on my Facebook. But Eddie Van Halen was always that standard, and I would buy the records and I would read Guitar Player and equipment and all that. And Eddie was always the standard from Eddie onward, and
nobody could top Eddie. Once you get into Van Halen, get into Eddie, start learning, all about him. If you're really into it and you really know, he's like the top, and nobody, he's like top level, and you can get into other stuff, but it doesn't compare. I mean, it can be different, but there's been nobody, I mean, to me, and I think to you as well.
People that have come close, and people that, maybe play rings around Eddie, as far as speed, but that quality, the whole guitar, music, rock and roll chakras aligned in one person. Eddie, man. Eddie. I hate to say it.
Oh, don't hate to say that.
No,
say it
some
again.
People might disagree. The guy that had it all aligned, it was just and
Everything.
has given a reason for a lot of guitar players to live and a lot of people to live. Eddie Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree with that.
and from there, I can tell you a little bit. Okay, go back. So I'm in high school. I've already known who Eddie Van Halen is. The first, you're gonna laugh. The first record I bought from Van Halen, I went to Kmart when there was a Kmart still in Brownsville.
What's Kmart?
Kmart was a store like a Sears and Walmart put together, something like that. Anyway,
they're gone now, but yeah.
I went through the records and I found, and I still have it, the single of "Dance the Night Away." That's the one that's the first single I bought.
Mm-hmm.
But almost immediately after that, not even 2 or 3 weeks, I bought Van Halen 1. And then I bought Van Halen 2 almost immediately after that. And I still have my 2 original copies, and I played the daylights out of those records. And then I got smart and made cassettes. Like every 6 months, year, I would make another cassette of the Van Halen 1 and before CDs. But I was made of Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. And as the other records came along, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, all of them, Diver Down, I would make cassette copies, and I would preciously put my Van Halen albums in a shrine, in my vinyl shrine, and just take the cassettes everywhere I went,
Yeah,
and
I did the same type of thing,
and wanting to get a car. It wasn't to have a car to cruise around and get the chicks. Yeah, later I got a car so I could play my cassette of Van Halen and cruise and listen to Van Halen. What a concept, right? What a concept. I didn't bother with a car at first. I was fine with my BMX bicycle, but I said, you know what? I can be in air conditioned, cruising around, pick up a girl, pick up my buddies, go chase the pawn shops and look at guitars and whatever. Go to the bookstore, see there's a new magazine with Van Halen in it. If I just get a car, put a cassette deck in it, and jam out Van Halen.
Yep.
That's it's crazy how your mind works, or my mind worked, but a car became a part of my life because I wanted to cruise listening to Van Halen.
I think a lot of us probably did the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure some guys are laughing right now because they kind of think their parallels are the same. It's funny, but it's so true. It's so true.
I know.
And
I know that's the cool thing about the internet now is we're meeting all these people now where we all kind of had the same kind of events in our lives years ago, but we didn't know it, that there was somebody else or a lot of other people very similar.
Yeah. And there, you touched on the thing. Oh, and there's so many levels on that similar thing. Like my girlfriend was here when she walked in yesterday when we were talking, and she caught the last of our conversation, and she says, finally you meet somebody like you. Because she understands, we've been together for like 5-6 years now, and she understands the importance of all this stuff. Wah-wah pedals, distortion boxes, old Marshall heads. It registers with her, and how I'm like a lone wolf. Even though there's tons of guitar players here in Austin, there's tons of people, guys with my mindset or like your mindset that can be parallel and talk and be in accordance with the theme of Van Halen. I haven't found very many here. There is a couple of people, but it's still it's so good to finally meet people and talk to people like you.
Yeah. And hey, listen, I have to do something over there really quickly. Can you see the live chat? Can you actually see? You're looking at the StreamYard feed, right?
It says live, subscribe, and smash that thumbs up. Johnny Beane TV. That's what I see.
That's what you see? Okay, so you're on a laptop, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so on the right-hand side, do you see where it says comments?
Yeah, okay.
Banners, if you click.
Okay, let me see here. Let me get my glasses on.
Oh, you got to get these things.
I'm on private chat, so I hit comments.
Hit comments.
Okay. There we go.
Wow, you'll see a whole bunch of people saying stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow.
Okay, and actually Jay is here, actually. Let me get Jay in here. I gotta use the restroom.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, Texas Joe, great stories, man. Oh man, Michael B, it's only gonna get better. You're gonna freak out.
Michael B. And here, Texas Joe, meet Jay Hannon.
Hey Jay, Texas Joe Valles here.
So what's up, man?
Hey,
So
I saw Metallica
All
on
right.
that tour.
I'll be right back.
so
Okay.
I was gonna join about 10 minutes ago, but I didn't want to interrupt the whole, I didn't want to be the guy that jumps in right in the middle of all the goodness. So I figured I'd wait until all the intro stuff and all the good stuff was over, and I'll jump in to ruin it. So
That's
nice
okay.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. I'm a motor mouth, man. So you got to shut me up, and the way to shut me up is to subtly say Texas blues. I already told
Texas
Johnny.
Blues, huh?
That way I know to back off and let somebody else speak. And I apologize, man, but I've been looking forward to something like this with Johnny and meeting people that are like-minded. You know,
Very cool. I think I have something. I think I caught something while I was waiting for the show to begin. I don't know what's happening here, but
oh yeah, wow, that's weird.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, we had I don't know if you knew, but we had the Halloween costume contest on I guess last Saturday.
No, I just me and Johnny just reconnected maybe several days ago.
Okay, well, another reason why it took me so long to get on was I had everything set up because we had the green screen, I had the light in a different spot, I had the microphone on a stand, and me and my wife were Wayne and Garth last week, so I had to kind of break everything down. So I finally made it on, and let me get the chat ready to go. And I apologize, everybody, but this is cool. This is nice to meet you.
Likewise, man. Everybody that's on here at Texas Joe, you are thank you, man, guys. Thank you. Feel free to anything you want to say, or maybe later on if you have any questions. I'm going to deep dive, and we're going to go down, as Johnny might have told you or not. I have some very interesting Van Halen stuff that I'm going to share with you all for several reasons of my own personal being. But I feel these things, people would enjoy the hell out of them, man. I got some good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Besides personal story, other things, and I'm glad to be here.
Dude, I mean, like I said earlier, it's so great. It's so great to finally meet you because I think I've been telling Jay this. I mean, I've seen you online just for so many years. Like for just years and years and years of pictures of you holding guitars.
Yeah.
And I always kind of assumed that you were going to pawn shops and you were like finding these guitars and like I don't know if you were buying them or just holding them or whatever, but like so many pictures of you with so many different guitars and some particular ones. I know there's this one particular one that I always, when I think of this particular guitar, I think of you because there's this guitar that Eddie kind of played for a while called the Megazone.
Absolutely. Well, he played the Hydra.
There's Hydra.
Two versions, the Hydra and the Megazone, and we'll deep dive into that, and I'll give you as much information as possible on that also. But you say when, and we'll talk about that. Okay. There's a lot I can tell you. A lot.
It's amazing that you've played those or whatever. Because like I said, like for years and years and years, I've just seen pictures of you either playing or holding that particular guitar, and only real nerdy Van Halen dorks know about that guitar.
Oh man, I was obsessed. As a matter of fact, I have another one that's been on the back burner for years, and hopefully I'm going to get that thing built soon.
Man.
And this show is an impetus to do that. But yeah, I
awesome.
Wayne Charvel built the Hydra, and somebody that worked for Wayne Charvel came up with that design. And here's a first bomb. It wasn't. I didn't intend to drop this one first on you all, but since we're talking about the Hydra and the Megazone, this is the first bomb I'm going to drop on you all of knowledge that I'm aware of because I found this on the internet or I've read or somebody told me. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
The Hydra, Charvel Hydra. If I'm not mistaken, I remember these kind of things. Was designed and built by one of Wayne's buddies, and Wayne finalized the design, or this guy finalized it and gave it to Wayne. Something along those funky lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was designed in 76 or 77, and the first recipient was supposedly going to be Tommy Bolin.
Wow.
Tommy Bolin. You guys know who Tommy Bolin is, right?
Yeah.
Tommy
Who's that?
Bolin, who played with Deep Purple, James Gang, you know, and
That's the guitar we're
that's the
talking
shape.
about.
That's the
Right
shape.
there.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
And I have one. I have one similar. I have actually two. One in the background that I haven't finished, and the butterfly one that you've seen.
Yeah. See, Texas Joe is the only guy I've ever seen with that guitar.
Yeah, there have been some semi-famous people that have used it, but I guess I'm the one that's out there with.
So how many did they
You're the
know
only
how
one
many
out
were
there that I've
made?
seen.
No. And here's the reason. Remember I told you there's two that I'm aware of. There's two, and there's actually three now. But there's two people that built them. Wayne Charvel, the Hydra that Eddie Van Halen used, and then that's the Hydra, and then there's another one that's extremely similar called the Megazone, and the Megazone was designed and finessed by none other than Carl Sandoval. I've met him.
Okay.
Carl Sandoval built Randy Rhoads' Polka Dot Flying V. Okay. Carl designed the Megazone. And that's where I found out about it, because my good friend is another Van Halen nut, and a guy who knew Eddie Van Halen was Jim Warino, JP Warino, from the Los Angeles magazine Rock City News. JP Warino is the only guy I know that has about at least 5 or 6 Megazone / Hydras. And JP Warino was the one who got me the silhouette of the Hydra / Megazone. And I got my friend here in Austin to build mine, who the guy's name is Peter Mark Glass. Peter Mark Glass is a builder, a repairman here in Austin, who's originally from Brownsville, Texas. He's here in Austin now, and he built my Megazone, But the first guys to do them that I'm aware of is Wayne Charvel, and whoever worked for him that helped him design it, and then Carl Sandoval. I don't know how he fits in the picture, but I knew he worked with Eddie Van Halen also. He designed and built Megazones. Does that help?
Yeah. And again, I'll show. Actually, I just Googled and I found a picture of yours. I found a picture
you want
of
to
you.
show it to people? I hope it's the one where I have them there professionally photoshopped with that pretty girl.
Yeah.
My model Jessica. She's gorgeous.
You guys ready?
Van Halen.
Yeah. Mine's gonna blow you away. Some people hate it, and a lot of people love it.
Check this out. So here's Texas Joe with his.
Yep. And my beautiful
it's
model
a
Jessica.
butterfly.
Yep.
Oh, I like the crop circles on the
Yep.
on
Yep.
the-
That neck, Johnny, let me take a picture of that real quick. Keep it up for a second, because I'm going to show Jessica. There's a story behind my Megazone. First of all, the pickups are DiMarzio's. The pickups are original 70s DiMarzio's on mine. And the neck was made by Phil Goenda of Figa Guitars in Brownsville. He's the one who did that crop circle thing. Now, there's a meaning behind the butterflies, the monarch butterfly. I needed something. There's a reason. There's something that binds the United States and Mexico, and it's the monarch butterfly. Because every year from actually Canada all the way down to Mexico, to the mountains of Guerrero, Mexico, the monarch butterfly is a symbol to many people of, the shared, there is no really boundary. There's the shared space of Canada, United States, and Mexico, and the butterfly freely flies back and forth, migrates. And I wanted something to share with people, in my way of thinking about what goes on and what happens. Plus, I felt that the shape lent itself to the butterfly wing, and also girls. When I play that guitar on stage, man, the girls come up like nobody's business. Yeah, girls love it, but a lot of dudes too. A lot of guys dig it. They're shocked. I've had the guitar for many, many years, and people freak out with it. And it sounds damn good. It's got a X2N DiMarzio pickup on the back.
Yeah,
and
I see that.
And a dual sound in the middle. Oh no, it's a super distortion in the back and an X2N in the middle and a single coil in the front.
Actually, I have an X3N in a guitar, if you believe that.
And that bridge is an American-made Trev Wilkinson. That bridge on there is an American-made Trev Wilkinson. The body was made by Peter Mark Glass, and the neck was made by Phil Gavenda of Figa Guitars. Yeah, and that guitar is amazing. One of these days, I'll let you play it, Johnny.
That'd be great, man.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's good.
Does anybody do Van Halen nerds out there? Do they get the relation to that guitar? Has anybody else besides me said, "Hey, that's kind of like the guitar that Eddie played or was pictured with"?
Yeah, I have never seen him. I have never seen Eddie use it live. Maybe some other people have. And by the way, I finally saw some video of the Dragon and the Snake guitar from Italy on YouTube. I had never seen him perform with that guitar live.
Oh, the lip sync.
The lip sync thing.
Yeah.
I love that guitar. I had that magazine, and I was going through a transformation, and I kind of regret it, but I'll get another copy. I had the Guitar World magazine with Eddie holding that guitar, and I held on to it for many years, and I sold it for $50. But I bought it at a super convenience store in the early '80s for whatever it was, $1.75, $2. And I held that magazine. I held on to that magazine for years. But there's a change in my life, and there's things that I had to get rid of, and I got rid of that magazine. But I'll get it again.
Yeah,
it's got to be out there.
Tony probably had 6 copies, but 5 of them might be ruined. One is probably still pristine. But the other 5, there's probably some pages stuck together here and there.
Mine was about 75.
75 pages stuck together. Wow.
No, 75% clean. No, I read that, and I read that and read that, and I studied it, and I tried to read between the lines of that issue. It was ridiculous. I wish somebody would pop up with that. But yeah, I had that Guitar World issue. And it's a rare one. It's not common. You can't find it too much, But I love that guitar. That Dragon Biting that Snake guitar was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, it was amazing. And yeah, that footage you're talking about, that was pretty incredible. That
I know, that's crazy.
That even showed up.
That's it.
There's the issue right there you're talking about.
It.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
I had the same issue actually. A friend of mine at a flea market in Berkeley, California, back in the '90s, found that magazine. Or I bought it from somebody for literally like $1 or something.
Yeah, I sold mine for
nothing.
$50 years ago on eBay. Yeah. It's probably worth $1,000 now. I don't know.
Hey, Kurt 5150 says that Rob Johnson has a replica of that guitar.
Of the dragon biting the snake, or the snake biting the dragon?
The snake, the dragon.
Wow, I'd like to know who built it for him. I'd love to have one of those, man. Actually, I'd love to have 2.
Robbie the Johnson Steamboat.
Wow, cool. Cool. I'd love to have a copy of that, man. It's amazing.
Hey, real quick, speaking of Rob Johnson and Kurt 5150, EVH Con is this weekend, Johnny. Sunday. We're talking 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Kurt 5150, I think we're going to have some kind of on-location live streaming to here, right?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
So Sunday morning, Sunday, my time, I'm going to have to wake up Sunday.
No, you don't have to do that.
Like 10 in the morning-ish. Because we have a late night. We do like I told you, we do like tons of different shows on the channel here, and we do a late night show on Saturdays.
So cool. Cool. Johnny, you're on it, man. My respects, man.
Thank you. Thank you. So we do a late Saturday thing, and actually I do an evening Sunday thing as well. But Sunday, roughly early afternoon time, we're going to go live from a guitar shop in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Greenwich. Yep. Greenwich music.
Yeah. Right? So all these Eastern Seaboard guys are getting together and doing a Van Halen con or a 5150 con, or what? How is this?
Yeah, it's called the EVH Con.
EVH. And now is this bent towards the vinyl records, photographs, the equipment, or everything? A smorgasbord.
pretty much the equipment. Like all these guys show up with their guitars, and they basically jam. They basically jam, and they show off like their replica guitars, guitars they've made, guitars they own.
There'll be a wall in
You
Greenwich
know.
Music with everybody's replica 5150 that they remember a couple years ago. There was a
Mhm.
picture of everybody that had a replica 5150 brought it.
Yeah, yeah.
And just there was a wall on the shop wall, just hanging 5150s, just like holy crap, look at that. So
Yeah.
and our buddy Kurt 5150, he's actually, I think is he there already? He's going from Washington State all the way. He's going
I
to
knew
the
it.
East Coast.
Tomorrow.
I knew it. There'd be some crazy guys that are coming from half around the world to this thing. If I had the money, I'd do it too, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's kind of the cool thing of like the, you know, I know when I got going with Johnny, 4 years ago now, and that's the cool thing. Like I met so many cool people just from this community. It's awesome, you know.
Mhm,
It really is.
mhm. Yeah, that man, guys. I'm glad I'm here. So Johnny, wherever you want to lead it, Johnny, you're the MC, man. However you want to take this.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're enjoying the stories.
Because I got tons of them, man. I got tons of them. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't even expecting to talk about the Hydra Megazone, and yet here I am. I did.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I mean, I mean, every time I would see a picture with Eddie with that guitar, like I would always think of you and your guitar because I so many years seeing it online, and you're the only other person I've ever seen with one of those guitars.
Wow, thank you. Now
Ever.
there was a band from Frisco, where you're from,
Mhm.
and they were a new wave band. And
I think I
I
saw
want
that.
to say When in Rome, but I don't think it's When in Rome. It's something similar. And they had a girl guitar player, a female, kind of looked like Pat Benatar, and she used a Hydra / Megazone, and she had two humbuckers on it, the humbucker in the back and the humbucker in the middle, and nothing in the front. And it was a solid color. It was either yellow or pink or something, because I found one many years ago in the mid 2000s, 2003, 2004, around there.
Mhm.
She was in a new wave band out of San Francisco, and her main guitar. There's actually two people. This one girl and a band out of Los Angeles, and the guy had a banana headstock. She had like a Strat headstock on hers, and this guy in this new wave band in Los Angeles had like a banana
You're
headstock.
talking about this guy.
I think that's one of the guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No, this is a third guy, because there's another guy out there. The banana headstock went down, and he was dressed in pink.
Okay.
Unless it's the same guy, but a kind of similar hairstyle.
I just found this on. I just found this on Google, but this obviously is an 80s photo.
Yeah.
You don't
It might have been
say.
that guy, but I saw another picture, but it was a solid bright color, like it was the new wave years. It was a yellow one or a pink one or something along those lines, red one. And the girl also had one. Hers, I remember distinctly having humbucker, but it was a Megazone / Hydra, and I think that gentleman also, I don't know who he is, and there was a new wave band. So now there's three people that.
Oh, maybe this.
Wow. Let me see. Let me put my glasses on, Johnny.
Yeah.
Maybe you might want to throw me that picture. Is she
Yeah.
is it from a Frisco band?
I don't know. It's over on VH Links. Somebody posted this.
That's got to be her at a later age. It's her.
All right,
It's her. She's from a new wave band from the Frisco area. It's her, but at an older age. It's her. What color is the guitar? Yellow or something like that?
Might be pink.
Pink? Yeah.
Might be pink.
Yeah. She kind of looked like Pat Benatar in her younger years. It might be her.
I'll send this to you. I'll send this.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we found one, two actually. That's cool, Johnny.
Man.
Very cool.
Yes.
Was it under Hydra or was it under Megazone?
Megazone.
Megazone, yeah. Remember, Carl Sandoval built them also, and to this day, I think still builds them. Well, of course, I think Wayne Charvel still does, but didn't his shop burn down or something?
Yes. Yeah, he was in the fire up north of me.
Yeah, horrible, man. Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Here, I'll send you that picture.
Man, to everybody that's said hello, Texas Joe or whatever, thank you guys. I mean, it's a shock, you know. Thank you, people. Thank you, everybody. You know, I got a lot of info that I want to impart on everybody, and you know, if you have any questions, also, if I can answer, you know, after you hear what I have to say, I'll try. You know, from what knowledge I have, you know, but I still got to impart my stories. It's just, I guess we're taking it step at a time, and how Johnny wants to run the show. I guess how you guys want to run the show.
Yeah, I mean, we basically, I mean, we just kind of, I don't even know. I've been doing this for years, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Very freeform, then. Very.
Oh yeah, that's what I tell people. Like when Johnny and I have guests and stuff, I like if I were the one to get the guest, I would tell them it's not your normal like Q&A. Oh, how did you blah blah blah. I mean, we of course get to that stuff, but it's more of a loose, just hang out and shoot the shit.
Okay.
Okay. You know, and try not to swear like I just did.
Yeah.
But
no, that's fine. It's understandable.
I'd rather. I mean, Johnny and I would rather do stuff like that, just like hang out and talk about things instead of just.
Okay.
You know, oh, now we're gonna. You know.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I'm good. Well, I think that. Johnny, I'm so glad that you found those two pictures of those two hydras, you know, because then I know there's people out there that geeked on that and frustrated them for many, many years on this. What the hell is this freaking guitar? You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if some guys took a picture of that guitar back in the day, and if somebody's out there that made one crudely, might have blown it up with one of those things that you had at school where you, that's how I did my first Brian May. You know, and that's another whole story. But I took the shade, and one of those things that you had at school where they would put those film things on, and they would put
projector,
those projector things. You know,
when the teacher leaves the room, you go and you put your hand on it. And you
exactly, yeah.
Do like weird.
Dude, anytime a teacher would wheel in the VCR or the projector, I was like, yes, it's good nap time.
Yeah. But that's where I got the idea to get wild shapes. Is by like maybe putting them on there or whatever, or tracing them and then getting them up on the wall and then tracing them real quick on the, you know, when I was in high school. That's how I did the Brian May, you know, and I nailed it. I nailed the dimensions. My build came out terrible, but you know.
So speaking of Brian May, so I'm going to assume you're a huge Brian May fan. If you made a Brian May.
Oh, let me tell you, man, another tone. You know, we talked about Van Halen early on, and then before, Metallica, Jay. Before Jay came on, we were talking about this tone, the signposts on the road. Okay, so I got into rock and roll because of Ace Frehley, and then I heard the Van Halen's sound, and it knocked me. I didn't know nothing from nothing, but why am I so tuned into this beautiful sound on the guitar? How come other stuff that I've heard, you know, and I was just getting into rock and roll, by the way. I hadn't heard a lot of stuff, but what tickled me also was Brian May of Queen. His sound was so huge. Tom Scholz of Boston is another one, and I got lucky and I met him. And I also met another one of my heroes, Leslie West of Mountain, the song Mississippi Queen, that giant sound, you know. And this leads me to another thing. Remember we were talking earlier about, I don't know, somebody brought up ZZ Top or something, you know, blues rock or whatever. But some of these guys got deadly close, but Van Halen nailed it, you know. I was just listening. Somebody was talking about and how the brothers Van Halen went and saw ZZ Top, and Eddie saw Billy Gibbons do a finger tapping thing, you know, and that's where he got the idea, or somebody says something like that. But if you listen to those early records, he got close, man. I mean, he has a beautiful fat sound, you know, Billy Gibbons. But Eddie, man, why is it that Eddie is the one that slammed us to the wall, you know? Why is it Eddie was the one that kept us awake at night, just thinking about his guitar tone and all these things over and over in our heads? You know, you couldn't sleep because, damn it, I don't have the right amp like Eddie Van Halen, man. I can't get that sound, and it's pissing me off, you know? I'm sure you went through that. I'm sure you guys went through that.
We're still going through it.
To me, it wasn't enough just to know the riffs, and I don't know all the riffs, you know, but the basic fundamental fat, juicy sound, the brown sound, I nailed it. I got it, you know? for my stuff, for my music, I'm there. I can probably get the Van Halen thing, and I got my own thing. But that's what drove me nuts. The science of his fat freaking sound, you know. And there was guys that got close that I have studied, you know. Ronnie Montrose got close. He got real close with that first Montrose record. Billy Gibbons got deadly close. He got real close. Wishbone Ash, the first album, those two dudes in that band, they got close, you know. And you're talking a whole other part of the world, you know.
Yeah.
There was a band from Japan, I believe, called Obsession. Felix Popularity, the bass player of Mountain, brought him to America. And I've seen some footage. Those guys had a beautiful sound, man. Fat, juicy. And they had Marshalls. I've seen some old footage on YouTube. I haven't been able to find it again. But years ago, I saw this footage and I said, man, these guys have that Van Halen thing almost there, you know? But isn't it funny how Eddie nailed it? And that's what drove us nuts. But he got it all together. Not only did he have the sound, but they had damn good songs, the structure, the lead guitar playing, all that thing was, you know, just this karmic focus. It's ridiculous.
And it really boils down to the songs. I mean, that's because if the guitar playing's amazing, if the song kind of stinks, it's like, well, guitar player's good, but I never want to listen to that ever again. You know?
Yeah. I mean, well, we had the good fortune. He nailed it. The songwriting was impeccable. I love David Lee Roth's voice. I love the drums. Michael Anthony's backup voice, the bass playing. Yep. It's all there, man. It's all there.
I think Van Halen, they checked all the boxes that you could possibly check.
Bingo.
You know, bingo. Everything besides the music stuff, the image, you know, the attitude. Just, you know, you see pictures of them back then when you're a kid, and you're like, look at these guys, man. Like, they just looked cool as hell, you know.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Carlos Santana got deadly close when he would do big chords, you know, and he was one of the first big rock stars to stumble into the Van Halen world, because I heard somewhere that Van Halen opened up for Santana, and Santana's watched him play. But even before that, on some records, and even afterwards, Santana got close when he would hit the chords, but it wasn't there like Eddie. You know what I'm saying? You know, Gary Moore's another one. The guys in Thin Lizzy. You know, it's ridiculous how close they got, but you know, their production wasn't there. You know, like you know, so it's just ridiculous.
So when you say close, do you mean that they get close to the same type of tone that Eddie had,
the fatness, or that fat, juicy Marshall?
So you're talking about the sound, but also are you talking about like the feeling?
No, not the feeling, because Eddie had his own feeling on the guitar. No, it's that sound, the spectrum, the EQ, the spectrum of sound, that warmth.
So the sound of the guitar itself.
Yeah, the way Eddie wound up doing it, you know, because remember, that's what hit me when I first got into Van Halen. I didn't know nothing from nothing, but why did that sound, those frequencies on a little tiny stupid transistor radio? Yeah, why did it hit me like that? Why did it pull me in? You know, and I was barely thinking of playing guitar, and I got there from Ace Frehley, and I loved Ace Frehley's playing. I loved to see all the theatrics, but his sound didn't nail me like Eddie Van Halen, you know. So
I mean So you're saying you were really into Ace, really, you know, Ace Frehley probably had the posters on your walls and stuff.
Absolutely.
So after you heard Eddie, how did you look at Ace after that? Was he still like? I mean, I'm sure he was still cool, but it was like, I got to put this Van Halen poster up over this one, or at least next to it.
Well, luckily I had enough real estate where I could put them all up. Check this out, guys. I had my house, my bedroom, my brother's bedrooms, and they trust me. They didn't mind that I would put more Van Halen posters or Molly Hatchet or whatever in their room. And then we had my grandma's house. My grandma let me put posters up in her, you know, bedroom in her house.
with tacks or with like actual tacks?
With tacks and tape or whatever.
Wow, that's big. That's big.
Yeah. No, she loved the fact that we were into music. My family was very supportive. My family was very supportive all the way around, thank God. And Yeah, anybody that
That's
I could
cool.
talk to about Van Halen in shouting distance or in speaking distance, I would. I mean, it gripped me bad, guys. It gripped me bad as a kid. To this day, I'm excited. I love, talking about him. But yeah, I mean, there's so much I can touch on. But
Yeah.
do you want to
So
talk about how Or go ahead. Go
Sure.
ahead, Johnny.
No, you're speaking
I
of.
want to get people excited. I want to get people excited and build this up.
I'm really excited.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm talking to you, Texas Joe. Like
Thank
I
you.
said, I mean, just years and years and years of just seeing your posts all the time.
Yeah.
But no, speaking of Kiss, I want to see what you think of this, because you grew up, you're into Kiss. Ace Frehley was the man. Then Eddie came along. Eddie was the man, still is. What about those stories or rumors or possibilities of Eddie joining Kiss at one point? What do you think about that?
Let me tell you my 9 cents. And I think, yes, it could have been possible, but I think the Van Halens had already put so much time into their thing that, do we want to cash out or cash in?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we put faith in ourselves and just keep hammering away? And Gene was very cool, but I thought Gene had more power back then to have said, you know what, F you guys, you're going to sign Van Halen. These guys are bad, blah, blah, blah. But then he had Paul, Ace, and Peter, and Bill Coyne, and all these other people to deal with. Gene didn't have the power back then that he has now, I feel. And even Gene has said it himself. I think Gene is very true. I loved hearing Gene talk. I believe Gene when he says something. Why should he bullshit? Why should he lie? He tried hard for Van Halen. And I can empathize with him because that happened to me and my band. My band was a power trio, or is a power trio, 3 brothers. And we'll get to the brother thing with the Van Halen brothers. The parallels are dangerously close and crazy, and people will freak out. But and it goes along several lines. But I think back then everybody was a little bit flippant. They tried with the initial spark and the initial enjoyment and the initial idea, but when it comes to towing the line, it becomes tough. It's like all the guys that wanted to be rock stars and got close but not close enough. Do you see what I'm saying? It takes that extra effort. So it would have taken an extra effort from Gene or somebody in the Kiss camp and maybe a little bit more extra effort on the Van Halen guys, to have them join Kiss. That's how I see it. Did I make myself clear, or am I as clear as mud?
Yeah. But so, because I know Gene had helped the band early on.
Absolutely.
And then there's a story about him taking Van Halen to Bill Coyne, and Bill Coyne passing on them because he had just signed
Piper,
Billy Squire.
Yeah, Piper.
I don't know if you know this. I actually showcased for Bill Coyne one time.
Wow.
I actually played for him.
Check out the parallels.
A band that I was in. We actually played at a small club. Bill Coyne was like watching us, and I remember thinking, wow, that's the guy that passed on Van Halen.
Yeah.
Now he's going to pass on us,
I wish I would have had that chance like you did, because let me tell you, and now this is a good time to say this, and people will freak out, but we almost signed with Seymour Stein of Sire Records because he passed on Jimi Hendrix.
Sire Records?
Sire Records, Seymour Stein passed on Hendrix. Him and Richard Goddard passed on Jimi Hendrix, and they regretted it pretty much forever. Now, after that was also an impetus for them to sign all the cool bands that they signed in America. Fleetwood Mac, later on The Cult, Depeche Mode, Madonna, all these people.
Yeah.
They weren't going to make the same mistake twice, and they didn't. Their track record was excellent. Seymour was interested in signing my band because when he didn't sign Jimi Hendrix, he was offered another band called which is a guy from South Texas, was living in Frisco at the time, named Wayne Ceballos. And Wayne was in a power trio, and they were deadly good. They're out there. You can hear them. You might consider them proto metal, freak beat, early hard rock, blues rock. Wayne had a power trio, and he was kind of like called the Mexican Hendrix. Wayne the Harp Ceballos, and the band and they did a lot of festivals and stuff, lower tier festivals. But Seymour signed them and tried to push them. He was a friend of mine in South Texas, and because of him and bringing up Wayne, Seymour was interested in signing us, my band, my power trio, the Valles Brothers / Valles Flying Machine. And then he showed us to Madonna, and Madonna was interested. But I believe their minions, the people that they need to help this, weren't as interested. So Seymour, I gave a call to Seymour, and it broke my heart, and that's another story, how we didn't get signed to a major label deal in the 90s. But Seymour wanted to, but I think it's because his people below him weren't committed. Like maybe Bill Aucoin was interested in you, but Bill Aucoin's minions or whatever weren't, everybody has to be on the same page.
I think it was just him at the time. I think it was
Johnny,
just Bill Aucoin.
all you had to do is if he said, "No, we're not really interested," and be like, "That's actually a compliment because you passed on Van Halen, so obviously you don't have an eye for talent."
Yeah, that's a good way of seeing it. But you know what would have been better is if Bill Aucoin would have signed you, like Seymour Stein says, if I sign you, I have to put you on the shelf for 5 years and let the contract run out. I said, Seymour, that's fine, because I would have taken that like some smart people did, and I could have used that as leverage to get another record deal somewhere else and get the cash to buy out my deal, but get a deal with somebody else, But we didn't know those things when we were younger. We were stupid, You have to be real sharp in the music industry, and you know how the music industry is very cutthroat,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way it goes. I wonder if Seymour Stein passed up on Van Halen. A lot of people knew who they were. A lot of people. And by the way, only one other famous band from South Texas, Toby Bo. They had a hit with this. You hear it on soft rock and classic rock. "You're My Angel Baby." "You're my angel baby for the rest of the night." Well, they were on Casablanca, and I believe Aucoin was managing them.
Oh, cool.
At that time, yeah. They were also, they knew the guys in Kiss and all that stuff. And it's crazy how things happen,
But you know what, though?
Yeah.
It's a good thing that it didn't happen that way. Because who knows what would have happened,
Absolutely.
It wouldn't have sounded how it sounded.
Or what if they would have been shelved?
Produced. Dave wouldn't have been as good as he ended up being.
Yep.
Because he wasn't ready yet. So.
No, but also they wouldn't have had Ted Templeman and Don Landy.
That's what I'm saying.
Which really is the magic of that first album. And
imagine
what happened.
Imagine
later.
if Ted Templeman and Don Landy would have done a Kiss record.
That would have sounded better.
Yeah. Oh, and then back to your other question. I still followed Ace, and I love Ace. I mean, he's my hero, my first hero. And like I told you, I saw him a couple weeks back here with Alice Cooper. He was spot on, man. It was awesome. Even at his age, I love the guy. He had that energy. He had that love of the audience, the love for the songs, and they rocked hard. His band was Ace, right up there. They were very, very cool. I enjoyed it. Ace is doing real good now at his age, and he's better than ever, I still love Ace, and I love the fact that he sings and plays the guitar also. That's one thing that I've grappled with all my life, because in my band, my brothers play, the drummer and the bass player play and sing, and I do most of the guitar, but then I do a lot of wacky stuff. But that's for another show, for another time. We'll stick to Van Halen, but I wished I could have seen Eddie sing a song. I wished I could have seen or know of Eddie singing a song. I would have loved to have seen that, because I know he was lead vocalist when they first started out as a garage band in Pasadena.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen Eddie sing, a song,
to sing back in the day.
Or even now, or the last tour that they did.
He did sing one song on one tour. The one tour that I missed was Van Halen 3 in 1998. And the reason I missed it is because
with Gary Cherone.
With Cherone. I was on tour myself. That was back when I was, you know who Desmond Child is?
Absolutely.
I used to live with Desmond. I used to live with him.
Wow.
And he was managing a band that I was in. That's how I auditioned for Bill Aucoin and all that stuff.
Amazing.
But so I was on tour myself during that time. So I had missed the Van Halen 3 tour. But early on in that tour, Eddie actually sang one song. He had a song called "How Many Say I," and they would bring a huge piano onto the stage, and he would play and sing that one tune.
Wow, I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, there might be footage. I think there's like
Wow,
one video of that.
amazing.
So it
I didn't
did
even
happen.
know that, guys. I
It
didn't
did
even
happen.
know that. Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. What do you think of his voice?
I mean,
Is he good? I mean, do you like it?
He's Eddie Van Halen. It's
There's
awesome.
your answer right there. If Johnny stumbles talking about Eddie Van Halen,
He doesn't know what compliment to use.
no,
Yeah.
no, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
curious
he's
about
great.
that.
I think
I'm
he's
gonna,
great.
I'm gonna have to check that out, guys. Thank you so much on that one. What else? I mean, the way Johnny Beane knows me, it'll be kind of a bit of a bomb dropper, but we'll definitely go down a rabbit hole. Do you want to start working on that, Johnny, or is there other things you want to talk about?
Oh, whatever you have.
Okay. Well, you want to set it up for me? How we wound up talking again a couple days ago?
Oh, dude. Yeah, okay.
Because I'm sure that tons of the people down here on the side are,
They have no idea.
Yeah, they have no idea.
They have no clue about that.
And how many people are on there?
We got about 50 people watching currently right now.
Let's let them have it.
Okay, so I saw these pictures years ago, and we can show them if you want to show them.
By all means. I wish I had the originals, and I should digitize them and lock them in a little bit better.
Let me see if I can.
I have the original photos still, and I might even have the original negatives, but I do have the original photos.
Wow. Let me grab them. Let's see where. Anyway, I'll try to find these pictures, and I'll show you guys these. These things they're just incredible. Basically, oh, here we go.
There's some with my brother. There's some with my brother, and there's some with me. Because we didn't have an extra person where we could all take the picture together.
Okay. All right. So let me make sure we're talking about the right thing. We're talking about the amplifiers.
Yeah, and the guitar,
Right.
obviously.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. Okay, and the guitar. Okay.
Two of my heroes that I was able to play their guitars, Eddie Van Halen and Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I can tell you, although Stevie Ray Vaughan had only one major main guitar, Eddie Van Halen had several, but it was one of his touring guitars.
Oh, I see. Okay, so these pictures, this couple of these are you, and a couple of these are your brother.
Yeah, Eloy, when he still had long hair. Eloy Valles, the drummer in the band.
Okay. I'll load these pictures up so we can show them. So
Yeah.
basically, like
let's load this one up real quick. Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Right on. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. And we're gonna.
What's up with that stupid left-handed one right there? Look at it, just throwing the whole picture off.
I'd take it, man. I'd take it. I'll play anything, lefty or righty.
Oh my God! Look, it just looks wrong, doesn't it?
I love it, man.
I wonder who that guitar is.
Can you play left-handed?
Yeah, a little bit. I stumble, but I can play. Absolutely. I'm bidextral.
Oh, cool.
When I was a little kid, the teachers used to slap me with a ruler on the fists or on the hands because I would switch hands writing with a pencil.
Really?
Yep. Yep. That was when corporal punishment was still viable in public schools. Well, at least in Texas. I don't know where you all were from that they did that, but
I was from Arizona, and I remember hearing stories about if you get in trouble, the principal has some paddles.
absolutely
that he'll use. And I remember I wasn't bad, so that never happened to me, but I had friends who got the treatment. They'd come back and they'd be like, yeah, that guy's rough, man.
Well, they wanted you to be either lefty or righty in the state of Texas, and I would jump from both. I would write with this one, then write with this one. You know, I'm dominant. I'm dominant right-handed, and I'm dominant right-handed guitar player. But I can fool around with both. It kind of twerks your brain a little bit when you win. Like I can play left-handed, but it kind of twerks your brain, and you get this kind of phasey weird deal going on. But it's a lot of fun, man, because it's like you're cracking code or something, and you're getting successful at it. That's how I feel
Mhm.
about it.
You got to get the Michelangelo
I've
patio
seen that.
or the Steve Vai double neck or triple neck. You know.
I've seen those. I've seen Michael Matteo and Steve Vai
Yep.
use those guitars. It's funny you say that.
I saw Michael. I saw him at NAMM one time, and he was on the escalator, but he was like this. I'm kidding. I
No,
did see him, but he didn't.
I wouldn't
do
put
that.
it past him though. You know? But yeah, show those pictures, and it'll go back to the guitars you just showed. It's funny. It's funny that you have
Dude.
that. You'll see right now. You'll see right now when Johnny. I don't know if you haven't seen my pictures, right, Jay?
I haven't seen anything.
Nobody's seen this stuff. This
Okay.
this is a world exclusive for everybody.
Okay.
But I've seen these pictures for years,
World
years and years and years,
premiere.
and that's one of the ways I know you.
It'll freak a lot of people out. It'll shed more light on the Van Halen saga.
Let me see. Let me just. The thing is with StreamYard, you can only have so many. I'm gonna have to erase this one. Okay.
Oh, too early. Too early.
Yeah. Let me just.
He said.
Let me see if I can add these. Add. Let's see if these add. Uploading.
Oh, you're
All right.
definitely uploading because you just glitched a little bit.
I got him. Okay, I got him. All right. So for years and years and years, I would see these pictures, and I would hear this. I would see Texas Joe telling this story like forever. But basically, the other day, I was scrolling through Facebook, and there again were these photos and the story, and that's when I'm like, well, man, Joe's got to jump on here, and we got to talk about this.
And I thank you for that wholeheartedly,
So,
bro.
dude. Anytime, man. You're welcome back. So hey, let me show one of these. Which one should I show?
Show the one with me first. Show the one with me first.
Okay, here's this one.
There we go.
There we go.
Jay, there's the guitar.
What?
So looking at that guitar there,
second.
that's a 1980. That's an 86, 85, 86 Kramer.
That
Somewhat.
photo was taken in late spring of 1988. The first time we went to Los Angeles from Texas. From our farm in Texas, it's the first time I'd ever left the South Texas and moved somewhere else and lived somewhere else. And we went straight to Los Angeles. And because of that Guitar Player magazine with the issue on modifications, I called up Jose, and because his English was so thick, I just told him, you know what? Screw it. Do you speak Spanish? Yeah. So we started speaking in Spanish, and we totally easily understood each other. And we built a friendship in less than 2 minutes.
Now explain to everybody who he is.
Okay, this man right here,
On
I'll
the
just
right.
talk about Van Halen, but the scope and breadth of his hands and his wizardry go way deep into rock and roll. But Jan Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen's dad, knew this man. His name is Jose Arredondo, or as most people know in English, Jose Arredondo. Okay? He is the guy who modified and worked and repaired Eddie Van Halen's Marshall amplifiers, virtually everything that Eddie Van Halen had.
Oh yeah,
And
the
he's
Jose
the one.
mod. Yep.
Yeah,
heard
he's the
that.
one who came up with a Jose mod, and that's another rabbit hole. But that amplifier that both me and him are leaning against is my 1971 100-watt Marshall head that Jose modified. And Jose did a good job on it. He said he put a lot of tender love and care into it, and he said it was one of the 3 or 4 of his favorite mods that he had done in current memory with that system of mods that he did on that particular run. He mentioned, I think I told Johnny, he mentioned Michael Landau, he mentioned Steve Lukather, and mine, and also he was working on the bench. He had just finished Adrian Vandenberg's, and he said it sounded real good, but he said he had a gut feeling that Billy White, who was in Don Dokken at the time with John Norum, he said, I think Billy White's Marshall, which was a all white and gold piping 8-input PA head, he said, Billy White's is probably going to come close in tone to yours or to Michael Landau's. But I think you guys, Jose's, or you guys mods are super awesome.
Hello.
You know, I'm sorry, guys. He said I'm really proud of this one, and I'm glad it's for you. And by the way, he invited me that day to go over there. I dropped it off one day, and I went back that day to pick it up. And he said, "That's a second photo." He said, "Check it out, see what you think." And he said, "I rarely do this." And he says, "I want you to play it." And by the way, he out of a dark corner in his shed, in his little room back there, his repair shop, he pulled out Eddie's guitar. You can use this one, and it put a lump in my heart. And then I had another guitar, my Fender Stratocaster, and I had this Jackson with me because I wanted to try them. And I don't know why I didn't take a picture with my Fender guitar, but he says, "You got these guitars, check it out, see what you think." So I tried all three. I tried Eddie's guitar. It was a touring guitar, that Jackson that I have there, and my Fender Strat on the amp. And I asked Jose, and Jose had it open, fired up and running, you know, high voltages. And I said, "Jose, can you put a little bit more low end in it?" And he agreed. I said, "I'll do it right now." And he tweaked the mod on the bass, and I got a little bit more low end out of it. And I was happy as a bug in a rug. I said, "Jose, perfect." And this all happened in less than 15 minutes. And my brother Eloy, the drummer, was standing right there next to me, and he was shocked. And all you could see was a big grin on Jose's face. I was so happy. I was playing my thing, playing my songs. And Jose was just smiling from ear to ear because he knew I was happy as a bug in a rug. You know, he knew that he had nailed it. And I was telling him in Spanish and in English, you know, "You got it, Jose. You know, you got it." I called him Jose, right? Not Jose. "Jose, you nailed it." And I would say, you know, a Spanish kind of bad word, but not really a funny word. I said, "Chingao, Jose, you nailed it. You nailed it. Sounds awesome." And by the way, you want to go back to the other picture, Johnny? That cabinet is the one that I used. That cabinet belonged to Mick Mars, and it's a very old Marshall 4x12 from the 60s. Jose let me use that to run my head when I tested it out. And that cabinet sounded beautiful, man. And I used the Eddie guitar, I used the Black Jackson, and I used my Fender Strat. And by the way, the amp on top is my Jose 100 watt 71. The one below that is a 1976 50 watt that Frank Levi did. And purportedly Frank Levi also modded some stuff for Eddie, although not as much as Jose, but he did Slash, he did Rat, he did Tito Jackson, you know, George Lynch, a couple other guys. And that he had modded that, and I took it to Jose so he could listen to it, and he said it sounded cool, it sounded all right. But of course, the Jose, man, because it was also 100 water, was just mind blowing. And then of course that cabinet right there is Mick Mars's 4x12. It was dead clean, guys. It was so clean, it was ridiculous, you know, and it was beautiful. And I even asked Jose, "Do you think Mick might want to sell it?" I said, "No, I don't think so. You know, I can ask him, you know, or maybe he has another one." And but it never came to anything. I never followed up. And then that Marshall head on the bottom, that one on the bottom on the floor, is Adrian Vandenberg's Marshall. Adrian, he was waiting for Adrian to show up also because he had just finished Adrian's amp. So he finished my Jose and Adrian's Jose more or less about the same time. That one down there is, and this is like 88, late spring, early summer of 88, when I was at Jose's shop in Thousand Oaks, California. And by the way, that day right there, there's a bunch of stories in this picture. I'm going to talk about the Eddie Van Halen guitar too. By the way, that rainbow strap right there, it's ridiculous. I get pissed off. That rainbow strap right there is, I had it on my Fender Strat, and I took it off my Fender Strat to take a picture with Eddie's. You know, I should have put my guitar in there too. You know, my Fender Strat, it has my Fender Strat, we'll talk about it later, but it had a kind of a homage to a Mountain album cover on it with the bird and the mountain and the rainbow colors and stuff.
No, all you need is Eddie's guitar in that picture.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I did it, you know, but my guitar, there's another thing, you know, we'll talk about it later. But anyway, I held on to Eddie's guitar, and that's a story I want to share with you all today. But yeah, my Jose on top, 71 100 watt, my 50 watt 76, Mick Mars's late 60s cab, and the bottom Adrian Vandenberg, an Adrian Vandenberg 100-watt head. Yep. So that's that. Jose's holding my Jackson, you know, and he could play a tiny bit, and he said, "Man, this thing feels good." But let me go to Eddie. I missed Eddie by 10 minutes because we were driving from Norwalk, California to Thousand Oaks, and the traffic was disgustingly bad. Eddie was there earlier, and Jose asked him, "Will you stay to meet these Texas guys? They're kind of crazy. They're cool. They're funny, you know, and they got a pretty cool little demo. Listen to him, Eddie. You know, talk to him, you know." And he agreed. But we took too long because of the traffic. It got real bad. There must have been a wreck or something. And when we were getting to Jose's house that day, way down the road, we saw a red Lamborghini bail out. And we were like, shit. We were one street away from Jose's house, and that thing was way, way down the road, but we saw it. The road, for some weird reason, was clear. There was a cop car down the road on the right-hand side of the road, and Eddie was way, way down. It was Eddie in the Lamborghini, and we were in a Ford Bronco, in a brown Ford Bronco. And we showed up at Jose's house. Jose was at the gate, and he said, "You just missed Eddie. You just missed Eddie. It's been about 10 minutes." And we said, "Was it the red Lamborghini?" And he says, "Yeah, it was a red Lamborghini. You missed him." And who knows how our fortunes would have changed, or how more intimate of a friendship I would have had with Eddie. I knew he was real nice and real friendly, you know, and, you know, I got to meet him one more other time, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, we missed Eddie by like 10 minutes. And we saw the Lamborghini way down the road as it cut to go into Thousand Oaks, to go into the valley, you know, and it pissed us off, you know, because Jose told him to wait, and he waited. They waited for a long time for us, but because of traffic. And then Jose was getting tons of calls. So
it's not like nowadays where you can like, "Ed, we're going to be there in like 5 minutes, man. Just wait. Yeah. You couldn't call on a cell phone, you know?
Exactly. No cell phones back then. None of that. And, you know, we missed him, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking, but oh well, you know, that's life, right? And Jose was just shaking his head. He saw us coming, and he saw the Bronco with the Texas plates. It was lifted with mutters and all that. I mean, that thing was straight off the cattle ranch. You know what I'm saying? And we were in Los Angeles. But yeah, that's the day we picked up the guitar, my Marshall from Jose. And Jose was very generous, very cool with us, offered us to eat. You know, we sat there and shooting the breeze with him. Real laid back, tons of jokes, guys. We joked around so much, and he would throw one at us, and we would throw another one at him. You know, all kinds of jokes, and he couldn't believe it. He would laugh. He had a great laugh, and he would just, because he wasn't used to it, and he would tell us, "Man, I can't joke like this with anybody. They don't understand, or it's hard." and he said, "Well, maybe Mick Mars would understand." You know, it was funny, but it was great, man. Jose was, and he told us a ton of stories. He worked on Eddie's stuff. He worked on a ton of people's stuff. The Beatles, Ricky Nelson, Elvis one time showed up at his shop in disguise to get a pickup on his Gibson acoustic. All kinds of stories, man. Yeah. I'm gonna drop another bomb on you all, but after this, I saw the prototype original Van Halen amp, and I can draw it out. I still remember it by memory. You know, if I knew how to do CAD, I could draw it out by memory. The original Van Halen amp. Yeah, I saw.
We know a guy that can do that.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that amp. I held it. I touched it. But Jose promised Eddie that he wouldn't let anybody play it. But he showed it to me. He showed it to me. He showed it to me and my brother Eloy. And
my gosh,
there's some stuff that I remember, and I remember. I mean, it was exciting meeting Jose. Very exciting, from a kid from the farm in South Texas. That's my brother Eloy, the drummer. And he's holding on to Eddie's guitar. Now let me talk about the Eddie guitar a little bit. We were clowning around right there. I think we might have said, "Jose, we got a wig in the truck. Let's give you a damn freaking wig." And he laughed, and he said, "Go get the damn thing," you know. And he might have said, "Do you got some pink panties also? I'll take them." You know? He was amazing, man. We loved him, man. He was great, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was totally, you know. I mean, it was totally cool. Eloy is holding Eddie Van Halen's guitar, the same one. I'm gonna tell you about that guitar. It was very light, guys. It was light. The neck was raw with no finish. The frets were perfect, guys. The frets were like shiny, brand new. They were big. It was even. The strings were still clean. But the thing that the pot felt real good. And the humbucker was mounted right to the wood. I could see it. The paint was rough. It was just like bicycle paint or, Walmart paint, whatever. It was just done like you did it in your backyard, man, It felt good. It was really, really light. And the one thing I'll tell you, the Floyd, I was already starting to have some rust on it from sweat or whatever. And the one thing that I remember is the bar was real wobbly on there. I hated that shit.
Yeah.
I was real anal.
I love that.
The bar flopped around.
That's how mine is. I'm my Music Man. Mine's exactly like that.
It flopped around, but it wavered between maybe a quarter inch and a tiny bit more. It flopped about a quarter inch, guys.
Dude,
about a quarter inch.
Let me show you mine. I think mine's like that. Hang on.
I think Eddie liked it like that. I can't do that. Mine has
I can't do that either. I don't mind that it spins, but the play it had at least a quarter of an inch of play, And I'm going, what the hell is this? And I might have said, fuck that or screw that. Let me just play my guitar. I was glad to play Eddie's guitar, but if I wanted to use the bar, I'd rather have mine because mine was stiff. My bar was stiff on my guitar on both.
Oh my God, Johnny's gonna break his neck.
What? Okay. Oh, Johnny's pulling down one of his, right? But that bar on that guitar was wobbly. It felt killer, guys. If I didn't touch the bar, I played it. It felt great, man. I played a lead. I played chords through this Jose, wound up. My Jose modded Marshall. It sounded fantastic, but I couldn't get along at that point in time, and I had enough time with the guitar to tell you that I couldn't get along with a bar flopping around like that.
Was it anything like this? Like here's my Music Man.
Okay, but the bar, Johnny, does it have play?
Mine's just natural. Mine's just naturally like this.
Yeah, hold your bar. Yeah, about that much. No, a little less. About a quarter inch.
Like that.
Yeah, a little play. No, a little bit, tiny bit more. Not as much as yours, but yeah, around
mine's
there.
Like this.
Yeah, that's a lot. I can't deal with that, man.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bugged me. But that's personal choice, right, guys? Oh yeah, it did that. It did that.
Yeah, I love this spinning. Like that is fine on EVH.
I don't mind that.
Rose, but
with the play, oh man.
Yeah, I don't like it like that.
Yeah, I don't like it. But the guitar,
I love it.
I said like the guitar was really light, guys, and it felt great, man. It felt great in your hands. That I will say. And I'll never forget that. And I thank God.
Imagine.
I thank God,
I can imagine that
for the chance to play it. But I still preferred my guitars. That Jackson was amazing. My Fender Strat, I can't believe I don't have it in that picture. I just realized it right now, all these years later. I should have thrown it in there. But that's for another story. But the amp, Jose nailed it. I still got the amp. It sounds fantastic. I'll never get rid of it, And there's more to this story, but yeah, we'll leave it at that right there. But Jose was very friendly, and it was a lot of money back then. Can I share the price of what it cost?
I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to.
Sure.
I didn't want to put you on the spot. So yeah, hell yeah.
I believe. Oh, and by the way, so stupid of me. I took Jose a second head, like a 77 or a 78, that had reportedly belonged to Megadeth. I found it in Norwalk at Downey Music, where I used to work. Somebody brought it in and sold it, and had Megadeth all over it. And the guy just wanted to get rid of it. He didn't like it, and I took it. I took it to Jose to get it modified, and I got into a financial crunch when we were there, and I had to go pick it up. And I felt sad because I didn't have the money. $500 was a lot of money. That's what it cost me for that mod. $500 or $550, if I'm not mistaken. He might have charged me taxes, but it was like $500 or $550. It was either $500 plus the taxes, something like that, or $550 total is what he charged me for the mod.
Oh my God, that's nothing.
No, but back then, come on, man.
Back
we're
then,
making,
you're
$7 an hour or whatever.
You're talking 88, man.
Yeah, and I was on the level, man. I didn't wheel and deal, if you know what I mean, black market or anything like that. I wasn't crossing stuff over the river. I was trying to be as straight arrow as possible.
Hold on a second. So that you said yours was a 71, right?
My 71. The above one was 71.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to buy one of those amps used at that time, do you remember? Do you have any idea what, like one that's in decent or good shape? Like if
If
you
I'm not
wanted to buy a
mistaken,
used one.
I bought that amp in Brownsville from. It used to belong to the guy who made the Star. We all knew each other. It was a small world down there. I got that Marshall from a music store called High School Music Service in Brownsville, and that Marshall used to belong to the guy Phil Gowenda from Figa Guitars, the guy who made the crop circle inlays.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for something else. I think he wanted to buy a Boogie or something. He wanted to get a compact, powerful amp, and he unloaded it. And I got it cheap. If I'm not mistaken, I think I paid either $175 for that Marshall or $350.
Holy crap!
I can't remember, but yeah, 150, 175 or 350. I cannot remember how much I paid for it, and I got it on payments. I had to pay it on payments.
So, but at that time, what year did you buy it?
I bought that Marshall in 1985 or 86.
All right. So if you were to buy it, let's just say from a shop, from a music store, if it was used sitting there, do you have any idea what it would have cost, like what they were going for around that time?
Oh, in Texas, there was just too many Marshalls. It was like Fenders. They were all over the place. Luckily enough, you would find them. Okay, not in South Texas. That was rare. You could find them, but they were rare. But from San Antonio on up, San Antonio, Dallas, or whatever, you could find one as low as $100. You know,
so
the craze hadn't happened yet.
But that's what I'm getting at is that these amps you could get them for $100, $200, $300.
Yes.
But to mod them, you're paying twice as much as you paid
3 or 4 times.
Just to, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm kind of getting at. You know.
Yeah.
When people now like, oh, $500 to mod the, it's not that bad. But when you put it into perspective of like, well, back then these amps were only going for, a couple $100, and then you're dumping an extra 500 into it to mod it by the man, Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. Do we go in the studio and cut our album while we're here in Los Angeles with the $500, or do I get a Jose mod? And me and my brother thought, and he says, well, we have patience. I mean, we went this far. We got out of the fucking ranch. Excuse me. We got off the freaking ranch, and we're here in LA. We can wait. You can record our record, and you have a Jose amp. You have a good tone. I always cared about my brothers. They're his bass rig and his amp rig. My brother, the drummer, his drum rig. We always cared about that stuff. It wasn't whatever. We weren't like that, And that's another thing. When we got to Los Angeles, met hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of musicians, and a lot of guys didn't care what they had. And a lot of them, even this is already in the late 80s, early 90s when we were in Los Angeles, a lot of guys, I'm sad to say, they weren't focused on their tone. Well, man, right off the bat, we were so anal about our sound, it was not even funny.
Well, but that's the difference, though. I think, and Steve Vai even mentions, like, early in his career, even when he got with Frank Zappa, like, he didn't know about good tone yet. And I don't think a lot of people don't. Like, certain people have obviously better ears than others, but some people either don't know about it or don't know in their ear what is actually good tone, especially when they're, starting out or young in a band. Because number one, you might be limited in what you can afford and what you can get. And you're like, well, this is the only amp I can afford and this is the only guitar. So I guess I have to, sound like however I sound. But I think a lot of it has to do with some people just they don't know what good tone is or how to get it out of an amp,
Back then, especially with the limited knowledge that there was available. Now we're very, very lucky, right? Young people are very lucky. Older people are very lucky because there's a lot of information on YouTube. But back then, living on the farm, in a place called Behind the Cactus Curtain, which was south of San Antonio, 3 hours on the border with Mexico. And yet I knew, but it was because I heard through that little radio, it hit me on the sound. Man, I was hell bent. I might not be able to play exactly like Eddie Van Halen, but I want his sound. And we all agreed, my brothers, and me, we agreed. You want some drums that sound like Alex Van Halen's. Well, my brother already loved Ludwig drums. We're going to have drums like Alex Van Halen. We're going to have Siljan cymbals like Alex Van Halen. You're going to have a Marshall. You're going to hot rod your Strat. You're going to get an Explorer, Ibanez Destroyer like Eddie. You're going to do all these things, and you're going to get the pedals like Eddie. even though you're doing your own thing, Eddie knows what he's doing, man. And he's in a big city like Los Angeles. You don't think he's gone through all the pedals that there are, all the amps that there are?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, guys. From my research, and especially when I landed in Los Angeles, I knew, talking to people, he had gone through Laney amps. He had gone through Orange. He had gone through Fender. He had gone through old Marshalls and new Marshalls at the time, you know, and he knew what he had. He knew what he was doing, you know. So I was going along the right path, you know. Yeah, I was distracted by Boogie and Marshall and this and that and Fender and, you know, Laney. And I wanted to try everything, you know, because I wasn't from a big city, you know. But when we got to LA, man, anything that I wanted, I found, you know, and it was available and it was cheap still. That's what I loved about Los Angeles, man.
Well, back to tone, and Johnny and I have mentioned this a number of times, but, you know, when you're starting out playing or whatever, and you're playing in your bedroom, right? What sounds good in your bedroom, as soon as you get with a drummer and a bass player or whatever, all of a sudden you're like, guys, I can't hear my guitar. You know, it's like, what sounds good just
a bigger room. A bigger room.
Yeah, and that too, once you get into a bigger room with a band and all these frequencies are just fighting at each other, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, why does my amp sound like mosquitoes? You hear them?
Exactly. Well, let me share my thing on that. Two things. My first amplifier was a Marlboro 2x10 solid state amp. It was a good amp.
Marlboro.
So
you had like a pack of smokes, just like
exactly.
modded, right?
It had the logo Marlboro, rare. They were distributed. By C. Bruno out of San Antonio. C. Bruno and Company, CB700 drums. Have you all seen them? Did you see any CB700 drums in your garage days when you were kids?
CB, yeah.
Do you remember Ross pedals?
Yes, Ross pedals. Yes.
Okay, that was C. Bruno. Okay, and he also, the reason MXR did so well is because all through Texas and the Southwest, C. Bruno did Hondo guitars. They did MXR pedals and a couple other things. I think they flirted with Tokai. So, you know, C. Bruno, I got a solid state Marlboro amp that my grandma bought for me because I got good grades. And then later on, I got an MXR Distortion 2 pedal, and I would play that. I said, man, it doesn't sound like Eddie, man. It's not that warm sound. What the hell? You know, what's going on here? What's wrong? You know, and I'm going back, guys, okay? I'm going back to 1980. Remember, this whole Jose thing, I already have learned a ton by 1985, 86.
Yeah,
you know, 85, 86, 87, 88.
89.
And Jose modified my amp in 88. Okay, going backwards, it was a disgusting and expensive learning lesson. You know, I didn't know the difference between tube amps and solid state amps. Okay, I had read that Randy Rhoads used the solid state amp, you know, and I said, okay, well, let me give it a shot. But I really would prefer more of an Eddie sound, you know. My first tube amp was an Alamo made in San Antonio, tube amp. Well, it was my second amp. And that one sounded sweet, but it was less wattage, you know. And we were already rehearsing, my brothers and stuff. And I had a MXR Distortion 2 pedal. And then later on, I bought the MXR Distortion Plus because Randy Rhoads used that. But it never occurred to me to stack the pedals like people do now. I either used one or the other. I never used them both, you know, and I was afraid to blow them up. I didn't know any better, you know.
Dude, you can't put both of them on at the same time.
Exactly.
Up, man.
Yeah, you're going to blow your stuff up, you know. You're going to get electrocuted or something. I didn't know, you know. Second mistake.
Your car's going to catch fire while you're playing it.
Second mistake. I knew that Randy Rhoads had bought a PV amp, and my mom, I got good grades, so my mom could buy me a Marshall stack, and she agreed. And we drove from Brownsville to Harlingen, 27 miles away, with the whole family packed in our big giant Ford F-250 with a camper. All the kids in there, okay? We're going to go buy Joe a Marshall stack, okay? We went to Harlingen, Texas, to the 2 music stores that were in town, 3 music stores that were in town, no Marshall stacks. So we went to McAllen. Well, we just sold our last Marshall stack last week, you know, and they were expensive, guys. They were like, what, $1,500 back then, list price, you know, and this was in the early 80s, but I had got good grades, and my mom was willing to shell out the love of a parent. You know, God bless her soul.
Now, was that the last year, the last semester that you got good grades?
No, I got good grades till I graduated.
Okay, because I was gonna say usually you get that big thing like, listen, if you get good grades this semester, I'll get you something awesome, and then you get it, and you're like, fuck it, I'm not, I'm done, I'm done.
No. I made a promise. So we didn't find the Marshall stack, and the funny thing was, I saw tons of vintage Fender amps. This was at Melhart Music in McAllen, and they said, yeah, you're wanting the Van Halen sound, right? Blah blah blah. Salesman kind of blasé. Well, we've been selling them a lot, but we can't get them right now. They're hot. You know, Marshall's a really, really hot ticket. And they suggested go to San Antonio, go to Corpus Christi, go to Houston, go to Dallas, and you'll find something. Right now, it's hard for us to get Marshall. We sold there's no used ones. You can forget it. There's no new ones either, you know. So we were dejected, and we went back down to Harlingen. And we had forgotten one music store that my mom thought she had seen because of a sewing shop next door. And it was called Sherry John's Music, buried in a little shopping center in Harlingen, Texas. Well, we went in there, and he had a PV full stack and a PV half stack. And I was desperate, man. I wanted something. And I heard Randy Rhoads had used PV. So I said, okay, I'll buy this. I'll get this PV half stack. I felt guilty getting my mom.
Because Randy had such a great tone.
Yeah. And we could talk about that. I'm
joking. I'm being sarcastic. I never thought that a good
we thought it was good, but that's later. We'll talk later. She bought me a PV half stack, a PV Centurion head, and the dumbest thing I did, she bought me a brand new, instead of buying me the 4x12 or me choosing the 4x12, I thought because it had more bass, I got a folded horn 2x12 cabinet. It had two 12s in it, a PV, brand new, with a folded horn. And I think I even saved my mom some money because I wanted her to get my brother more cymbals. I was willing to share my money from my stack because we wanted to start playing so bad, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a folded horn PV 2x12 and the Centurion head. I got him home. Folded horn. Was I pissed? Is that
bummed. Like a PA cabinet?
It was for bass and for keyboard.
For bass. Okay.
For low end, because it had a folded horn on the bottom and two 12s. Well, I got it home and I got distortion and I hooked up the MXR distortion. It sounded cool, close to Randy, but no cigar. Definitely not Van Halen. And I was bummed, man. I was bummed. I took it inside the house and I cranked it up. I took it outside to the garage. I cranked it up. And, man, I was super bummed, man. I said, man, I should have just waited. And
you couldn't, back then, you probably couldn't return stuff like you can now, right?
Well, I didn't want to. I mean, I needed something. I needed to start playing with something. And I wanted to start jamming with my brother because he already had a drum set, you know? So he had a small little crappy drum set, but he had a drum set, and we needed to start playing, man. You know, because the little tiny amps. I had the little tiny Marlboro, which was kind of barely getting by, and the little Alamo, and it wasn't happening, man. You know, and we wanted to play because we had a goal. We were going to play the talent show and impress all the cheerleaders and the football players. You know, we had a goal, but I thought I'd have a Marshall stack for that. You know.
Yeah. Damn.
So there was that time frame, and then later on, little by little, I got, you know, I bought a Vox AC30 in between. I ordered it from England, a 1980 Vox AC30, and I had that, and I was pretty happy with that. And later on, I bought a Marshall 4x12, and I would stack that on top, and it sounded good. But in 80, I think, that was 82 when I got the Vox. And then I didn't get that Marshall head, the 100 watt that you see, till I believe 85. And then 85, 86, 87, 88, we went to LA, and then I got that one up there. Yeah. I got the 76 below that, before that, but Jose said he wouldn't mod. Jose would not mod 50 watters anymore.
So those are both your amps, the two top ones?
Yeah, the two top ones. Yeah, the top one is the 100 watt, 71 100 watt, and the one below is a 76 50 watt. And I still have them both.
Dang.
And I'm going to talk privately to Johnny about one more thing. Just notice my Marshall.
So I'm not allowed to listen, huh?
Well, he can share it with you, but because there's a proprietary secrets. You know?
Jay, mute your microphone. Mute your speakers real quick. I have to tell Johnny something.
Jay, if you're into Van Halen and you're into mods and all that stuff, let's me and you talk. But I'm going to share this one thing. But all I'll say is this: look very closely at my Marshall, the 100 water. Just look at it.
The top one.
Yeah. Don't say nothing. Just look at all the details. And then I'm going to talk to Johnny about this, and then we might bring it back for the whole crowd.
Okay, I think I get it.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk to Johnny about this, and we'll take it from there. But I got a lot of stories, guys, and
there's not 70 people watching this right now.
How many people is it?
No,
there's not 70. Wow, that's cool.
Well, there's not 71. Let me just say.
We'll talk about it later, and I'm going to blow some minds. People that love to go down rabbit holes and love rock and roll history and love all the famous rock bands, they're going to love this one. But yeah, my 100-watt head, I still own it. I own the 76, and I'll never get rid of them, man. I love it. My Jose, the transformers are original. All the circuitry is original. What Jose put in. The only person who has touched this amp, and I'd love to get him on the show, and some people in your audience might know who he is, especially if they're from Texas, is Eric Johnson's tech, Bill Webb. He's the only one that has touched it. He only has retubed it and maybe checked for cold solder points. But nobody, absolutely no one, since I have owned it, has touched it besides Jose and Bill Webb. And
that's cool.
It's beautiful. And there's other guys. I think maybe later on, if we can get a bunch of people together, and here's another thing. They had 5150 Con, right? Why don't we have a EVH Jose Con?
Yeah.
They're very rare, and they're very few. You know, there's less than 500 from what I understand. I think Jose modded less than 500 of them.
The amps that he modded, you're talking about.
And then remember, some of them got destroyed. Some of them got burned in fires, trash.
What's 500 amps times $500? We could figure out how much he...
Yeah. Well, he was trying to feed his family. I mean, the taxes were high on the land there in Thousand Oaks, you know, and who knows, you know, kids were going to college, blah, blah, blah. You got to eat, you know,
I like eating.
Yeah. So, you know, to me, it was fair. And then it was Eddie Van Halen. It's a miracle it wasn't $1,000, you know?
Even back then, it could have been.
Yeah. Maybe some guys got, you know, a mod by the end of Jose's life, paid $1,000. I don't know, you know, but
maybe you got a special deal because of how cool. I mean, there was a bond between you guys.
Man, the guy was great, man. He's like that crazy old uncle that, you know, you love going to visit, you know. He was amazing, and I feel bad. We were living in LA. I should have gone to visit him more often, but Los Angeles was just mind-blowing. And we were trying to get our record deal, and we were out playing, and then also you're a working stiff, and the traffic from Norwalk, which is in southern LA County, almost on the border with Orange County, going up to Thousand Oaks, over Hollywood, over the hill. Oh man, it was just, and in the winter, forget it, man. It was worse. But I regret not hanging out or going to see Jose more often, you know. And he was really, really nice, man. And I regret not getting that second Marshall modified. I wouldn't have picked it up. I was real down. I was real sad. I said, Jose, I'm not going to be able to pay for it right now. Maybe in a couple of months I can come back and bring it. And he was cool with it. Okay, he says, you come and visit me anytime. You're more than welcomed, you know. And he was really, really nice, man. And then he says, maybe next time Eddie will be here, you know. And he was super cool. And of course, there's more to this story than what I'm telling you guys, but I'll have to talk to, you know, you guys about the specifics because it could get kind of hairy, you know. But it's good information, and I wouldn't mind sharing it if I can, you know.
Dude, I mean that'd be amazing.
You know, because somebody could throw up a red flag, or, you know, the last thing I would want is to butt heads with anybody, and Lord knows I've done that in my life, but I know what I know.
It's the internet, and it happens.
This is forever.
Yeah.
When we're gone, when we're long gone, this is still going to be playing in somebody's living room.
700 years from now. That's cool, man. And again, guys, thank you for this. I mean, I'm not closing off or anything, but all the people that have on the side here, man. You want to tell them how to get a hold of me or whatever? Just Google, I guess, right? I can say it. Google Valles Flying Machine. My last name is Valles.
Give me your website. Tell me.
There's several. We're on Facebook, and then we also have a website that I need to update, the VallesFlyingMachine.com. Valles Flying Machine, Valles. The two L's in Spanish sound like a Y. Okay, Valles. So if you say it Vayes, pronounce it that way, you're right on. Valles, like Steve Vai and the band Yes. But it's spelled Valles, Flying Machine.
Valles Flying Machine. Do you want them to have the .com?
If they want, the Facebook or...
Does that
or
go everywhere? Does the .com
absolutely
link to...
Our music is everywhere. And yes, I have some hard rock stuff that, has that Van Halen energy and, that tone. If you hear my stuff, you'll hear that I'm in that sound. I'm in that area. And my next record, you're going to even hear it even more, but we're all over the place as far as a band. We do acoustic, we do synthesizer, we do 12-string, we do prog, we do folk, we do rock en español, we do jam band, we do spaceship music, with electric guitar. We're all over the place, we're all over the place. But the hard rock, like Van Halen, the big rock, we have it. And I think we're very successful at nailing that.
Big rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie called it big rock. And I think the Valles Flying Machine also does big rock, and I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Only the real Van Halen nerds know about the term big rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm a nerd, man. Bad, and I admit it gleefully, and I'm so glad I meet guys like you, Jay, later on if we can powwow, man. I mean, I kind of got a vibe for Johnny, and I'm like, man, like my girlfriend was saying yesterday, finally you found somebody like-minded like you. Now there is people here, right? But like, I really went down a rabbit hole or another universe with Eddie Van Halen, but I've done that with several people, with a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, but I had a radio show between 2003 and 2013, and I want to start that up again here in Austin, but there's a couple of things I need to get happening. But I was on terrestrial radio, NPR, PBS in South Texas, and it went for a 100-mile radius. So I went into Mexico and all over South Texas, and I would play Van Halen. I would sneak it in there as psychedelic music, because my show was mainly focused on psychedelic music, but I would play like Sunday Afternoon in the Park, things like that. And I would pawn them off as psychedelic songs. I would pawn them off as psychedelic songs, and people would agree. Yeah, it is psychedelic.
Like what time slot was that? Like what time of the day were you doing?
I was on Saturday nights from 10 to midnight. And sometimes I would even have 3 hours.
Oh, that's cool.
And I would play Van Halen on there, Let me ask you guys this question. I've always felt Sunday Afternoon in the Park was a psychedelic song. What songs do you think from Van Halen are psychedelic tinged?
Right off the bat, there's a song off Van Halen 3 that has like a phasing on the mix. That's psychedelic. I'm trying to think of what song that is. John BL, what song is that? Anything else? Definitely Sunday Afternoon, somewhat.
How about the keyboards to Dancing in the Street? Just the keyboard part.
Yeah, I would play that one. I would play Dancing in the Streets. Absolutely. You nailed it, man. And it's a song from the 60s, and sure. I would tell people, I would sell people. I think I could sell snow to Eskimos because I sold people on the fact that I believe Running with the Devil is a psychedelic song. Because it slammed you so bad, like a Hendrix thing, like early Grand Funk Railroad, like Iron Butterfly. It slammed you, and it has depth, but it also has space, and it breathes, And there's that blues thing by David Lee Roth. I would pawn it on my radio show as a psychedelic song, and people bought it hook, line, and sinker willingly. I love that song. It's hard rock, but I think to a point, in some interesting fashion, it floats around in the psychedelic realm.
I think all Van Halen floats around like that. I mean, they
boogie rock. I mean,
at the time, they were labeled heavy metal, but they they weren't metal.
Well,
No, they were-
especially nowadays, like when
They're big rock.
Yeah.
They're big
Yeah.
rock.
You know, Joe,
And there was-
do you remember like the Johnny and I have joked about the whole like the BMG and Columbia House back in, you know, the early 90s or whatever, late 80s, early 90s.
Absolutely.
You know, when you looked at that and the heavy metal page was literally like Motley Crue, Van
Correct.
Halen, like, you know,
All for a penny.
Skid Row. It was just hard, that was the hard rock back then.
Yeah.
Some people considered that heavy metal. And when you look back now and you consider what
Has
we
come to
consider
pass.
heavy metal.
Yeah, what's come to pass.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like not even close, you know?
Yeah. But I think it has been genericized. Maybe you guys will agree with me, maybe not. But because people have tried to go so heavy, Eric has a term for things like this, a point of diminishing returns. I think all the heavy chuggy stuff that started with a boogie truck actually started with a 5150 head from Peavey with that heavy overdrive. And it went on to like the triple rectifiers and the Carvin V3 and all that. And then it got heavier, you know, heavier amps, the Bogners and all that. And then people started playing chug and then the 7-string and then detuning. Now, I'm not talking really doom and stoner because it's been around since Sabbath, you know, and Van Halen, right? I'm talking about maybe like the Slipknots and stuff like that. The tone, I think the tone and the blast beats, to me, has kind of hit a wall. Meshuggah, you know, they're great and all that, but that tone has maybe hit a wall. Whereas anybody fooling around with a sound like Van Halen, there's a lot of depth, breadth, scope, and universe to write a song and to use those sounds to make something beautiful with. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, I mean, the more gain you put on something, I mean, it's more compression. The more gain, the less
subtlety,
breathing, I guess.
The more limits you're placing on what you can do.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like, you think, you know, even when you listen to some records, it's like, you know, you don't have to have as much gain as you think, even if you're in a heavy metal band, you know, you don't have to put that gain all the way up, especially when you're double tracking guitars and you're going to have distortion on the bass guitar coming up the middle. You don't have to have all this, you know, huge gain because the sound of the guitar and your hands disappears as you turn that gain up all the way.
And as the time goes faster, you know, there's no breadth to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Eddie was a master. He knew every heavy band there was, man. You know, they were in tune before they came around with a record. I'm sure he knew who Dust was. I'm sure he knew who Sir Lord Baltimore was. You know, I'm sure you guys know who these bands are, these heavy bands. David Lee Roth, man, had one of the most mammoth record collections around. These guys knew, man. They had done their research. They knew all the bands that were on the radio that were heavy. They knew all about time. They knew all about breadth and scope and depth and airiness.
Dynamics. That's the word I was trying to find. Dynamics.
Yeah, dynamics. Yeah. They knew, man. They had done their research. That's why I think one of the huge parts of Van Halen is so magical. These guys, the nuts and bolts and the science, these guys had it down. You know, when one guy didn't know, the other guy picked up on it. And for not having the internet and for not having, you know, a lot of books and stuff, you know.
And those amps, you know, and you know this because you have one before you obviously got them, but those amps weren't, you know, they didn't know about high gain and all this stuff back then. So people had to try to they had to basically mod or do whatever they could do to get a certain sound out of those things back then. And not just amps, anything that they were messing with. Recording engineers, same type of thing. They had to try to figure out, okay, I want to get this certain sound. How do I do it? Nowadays, it's so easy. It's like, oh, you want that certain sound? Get a different amp. Or we got plugins for everything to just, you know, pull up a preset for any kind of effect you can imagine.
Here's another one. This story is from Canada. And it goes along the lines of Van Halen. Giles Garnett. I have some of his amplifiers. I don't know if Eddie ever played a Garnett amp, but I know they sold them in Los Angeles. Gar Gillis of Garnett Amplifiers. I met his daughter, one of his daughters, beautiful soul. She's a friend of mine on Facebook. Somebody made a book on Garnett amps. Randy Bachman of BTO. He was looking to push sound and push air and have a big fat sound with his Les Paul, and to thicken up his Strat. How do I do it? Well, he went to Gar Gillis. They went at it from another point. And what you get is American Woman, that singing sustain, that kind of violin thing that Eric, many, many years later, perfected. Eric Johnson, what Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck were fooling with. Eddie kind of got close, but he did his own thing with it. But other people looking for to solve a problem. They took a Fender Champ and they kind of messed with it a little bit, and they used it as an overdrive unit made out of tubes to overdrive another amplifier. One Garnet Herzog overdrive unit into a Garnet BTO, and this is the sound of, because a lot of people freak out over American Woman, the tone, the sound. I did when I first heard it. How can the Guess Who sound so huge? And there's other songs that are not as heavy, but they got this big sound, I know that Eddie studied these things. Well, BTO opened up for Van Halen in the 80s,
Yeah, 86.
And I'm sure Eddie was impressed with Randy Bachman's sound. I know they did their work, man. I know that Van Halen did their work. Michael Anthony, man, they didn't, for some weird reason, he didn't get, and it's good. On a big sound system, you can hear it even on the old records, but on a small radio or whatever, a boombox in the 80s, it didn't translate as pretty as it would now, especially with digital remastering. But the bass sound of Michael Anthony, that's a beautiful sound, man. He nailed it. He got it greasy and thick with definition. Michael, man, brilliant, and a great singer, man. Great singer.
Yeah.
Also, why there's not a single song with just Michael's lead singing is beyond me. I heard Alex Van Halen can sing too. I don't know. But yeah, tone.
They all
there's a lot of people that were fooling with it, but I think as we know and love it, as us three and your fans know and love it, Eddie nailed it. And there's other people who, of course, might disagree. They say Stevie Ray and la la la, and I shouldn't say it like that, but like Stevie Ray, people make a big deal about his tone. Jeff Beck, Santana, me. Some guys that are huge milestones is Tom Scholz of Boston. I love him. Brian May of Queen, Leslie West of Mountain. I love those guys. Van Halen. They did covers of Mountain. Joe Walsh and the James Gang live, not on record, but James Gang live. That record is phenomenal. What a fat sound, great tone out of Joe Walsh and the James Gang live record, but there's others out there, and lead playing, of course, guys like Richie Blackmore, fantastic. Eddie loved him, but that fat chunky rhythm sound, which also translated into that fat lead guitar sound, that spongy lead guitar sound.
Yeah,
Eddie was the man. Eddie is the man. That's the way I see it.
That's it. I mean, there's nothing else.
Yeah, what else?
I mean, Eddie is the man. Period. Yeah. There's nothing you can say after that.
There'll never be another guitar player that, and it hasn't happened since him. I mean, obviously, there's been. And I heard, I was listening when you guys were talking during the intro and stuff about, Eddie and all that stuff. But, there's obviously was the guys after, with the Vi and Satriani and those guys who obviously are phenomenal.
Fantastic.
But the last game changer and the final game changer there'll ever be is Eddie. And unless somebody comes up with a new instrument that's like a guitar that you can do all this other stuff on at the same time, and somebody they'll
guitar.
There'll never be another guitarist that did what he did for not only guitar but rock guitar and just overall music. See you later.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend. I'm saying hello after.
Yeah, but you're looking towards me when you did that.
Oh, sorry, man. Hey, but it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man.
Hi, boys.
No, but my girlfriend is my biggest cheerleader, and she says, "Man, you got to go on that show with those guys. I mean, people that are like-minded like you, absolutely, man."
No, she said people that are crazy like you. Is that's
well, yeah, no, she's thinking that probably silently,
Hey, those guys
Yeah,
are nuts.
she
Why don't you go
supports
on
me
with
with-
them.
she supports me and big time, and I love her for that. But yeah, no, Eddie, I was telling Johnny earlier. You might have heard. To me, the signposts, of course, was Ace Frehley, and not even 6 months later, I discovered Eddie Van Halen. Because the announcement for the Texas Jam that year, '79, that summer of '79, Van Halen played on there and a couple of other bands. I think it was Heart and I don't know. I think it might have been Boston also and some other people. But they said Van Halen, da 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 da, chicka da 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 da, girl, you really got me now. And then David Lee Roth, girl, you really got me now. His voice, there's something special about his voice also. David Lee Roth, one of my favorite singers, period. I don't care what anybody says. I love the way he sings.
Arguably the greatest front man.
Oh, man.
Even, and Johnny, again, we've mentioned this, but when you compare, I don't know if you're a big Sammy guy, but I love
Sammy, man.
Yeah,
but my magic of Sammy was Montrose.
But
I like him too, but way heavier on David Lee Roth.
Yeah, I get it. There's no argument here. I'm not gonna, oh no. Yeah. But the thing about Dave, the beauty about Dave was that he could go on stage and barely sing and just do whatever, and it didn't matter. He was this larger than life figure on stage, this rock star, and
absolutely,
like I said, he didn't have to sing. Whereas when Sammy got in the band, if he went up on stage and didn't like sing the songs, everybody been like, what the hell's going on up there? This guy's that's the difference in the two of them,
Yeah.
The biggest difference, I should say.
Sammy had to work it.
Yeah.
Sammy had to work it. David Lee Roth is a freaking magician, just like Eddie was, Yep. And then Michael Anthony too, man. Michael Anthony had a persona. These guys, and then Alex, man. Oh, yeah. Man. But that's the difference from starting off as kids going up, and taking it all with you and pulling all that magic and making it happen, distilling everything, whereas they're their own entities, they're their own personas. And it was just as cool watching Van Halen, 4 individuals, as it was Kiss, 4 individuals. That's the way I see the first Van Halen. Amazing.
Steve Barton, thank you so much. So wait, Texas Joe. So
yes, sir.
Really quickly.
Good night, Janice.
We're kind of running out of time because we're going over. Yeah.
So much to talk about, guys. I haven't.
That's why this is almost like a daily show nowadays. But so you were saying, so you saw Van Halen at Texas Jam?
No. I heard the announcements.
You heard the announcement, okay?
And then he saw all the T-shirts when he got back to school.
The T-shirts.
When I was a freshman, I went into high school, James Pace High School, senior of '83. Okay. But I went in '79. I was a freshman. '79, '80. I was a freshman. And that summer, right before I walked in as a freshman, the Texas Jam went down, and then Van Halen also. When school started, the first week or second week of school, late August, early September, Van Halen went down to Corpus Christi. They never came to the Rio Grande Valley. I would have caught them. I wasn't aware of them playing in Corpus Christi, which is 3 hours north of the Rio Grande Valley. Okay. They played there, and they played San Antonio and Houston, but they never came more south. Remember, from Corpus Christi, it's San Antonio, which is what everybody thinks is the end of the world in Texas. But there's 5 more hours south.
I don't know why that was funny, but it is, right? The end of the world in Texas.
Yeah, no. There's San Antonio. 2 hours down is Corpus Christi. 3 hours down is Brownsville and the rest of the Rio Grande Valley, and then the border with Mexico. Guys, my ranch is only like a couple of acres from the Rio Grande River, and hence across the river is Mexico. I'm right there on the border. My ranch is right there on the border. So, but anyway, Van Halen played in Corpus Christi, so tons of kids had the T-shirts. A bunch of kids went. Juniors. It was amazing because juniors, sophomores, freshmen, and seniors, guys and girls, walking around with a Van Halen T-shirt, the Van Halen 1 album, the Van Halen 2 album on the T-shirt, and a special shirt for that tour. Blows your mind. blows your mind.
Well,
And then t-shirts were rare back then.
When you think about that now, it does, because you know, I don't mean to jump ahead, but I gotta get this question in before we split for the night.
Okay.
So obviously you were a Van Halen fan pretty much from the get go.
I heard that guitar and I was hooked.
So it usually, when that happens, you know, maybe the generation before Johnny and I, or whatever the hell it would be, or a few years older.
I'm 56. I'm 56, okay. Guys.
All right, so I'm 44. Johnny's 24. So
I'm 29.
So anyway, my older brother, who's 4 years older than me, he's the one that got me into Van Halen and Rush and all that stuff. So I have him to thank. I probably would have been listening to rap because where I went to school and the generation that I was, like, everything was kind of leaning towards that.
Guys, I'm a substitute teacher. I was teaching today, teaching. All the kids are into rap. It's crazy.
So anyway, my question to you is, it's great that you love both eras, because usually it seems like a lot of people around your age that were heavily into Van Halen, once Dave was gone, they were like, this is Dave, right? So what was your reaction when, obviously you said you were a Montrose fan from the get-go, so that obviously there was that. But were you a Sammy Hagar fan with his solo stuff? And when
absolutely
Dave left,
hardcore.
Okay, so you were like, okay, well, obviously nobody wants Dave to leave Van Halen, but you were obviously a Sammy fan, so you were like, okay, this could be cool.
Yes.
So what was your reaction when you heard?
I was a little bummed because I was waiting to hear "Running with the Devil" version 2.0, you know, but it was good. And then finally, you know, they say this guy's a keyboard player, and man, it's good, but it wasn't. I mean, the sound was there, although a little bit more processed, and it was more top 20 tinted radio songs. But I couldn't blame the guy because they were under a lot of pressure. You know, they were under a lot of pressure. And I learned by leaps and bounds. Remember, I wanted to get a record deal, so I understood you got to write hit songs. One thing that's a shadow behind me this whole time I'm trying to be, remember, when I learned to play the guitar, when I first saw Kiss, heard Kiss and heard Van Halen, I made it right then and there. I was going to be a rock star. This is all not just for fun. I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a lawyer. Maybe if my father would have stayed a rancher and not gotten into construction, I would have stayed a rancher and, you know, cowboy, cows and all that trip. But now I became a gypsy, man. I wanted to rock and roll, you know, and I was hell bent. That's why I wound up in California. And we got deadly close, and we can talk about that later. But, you know, Van Halen, man, there's two brothers. They're Dutch. They came all the way from Holland. If they can make it, I can get the hell out of the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas and behind the Cactus Curtain and make it in Hollywood. I was that brash. I was that confident. And we tried hard to write songs like that. We were a little bit more, we always have been a little bit more spread. But Van Halen, man, it was a good foundation for us. And it was the right path to go. And anything Van Halen did, Sammy or whatever, and of course Sammy was in the future, you learn from these guys, and you take what they've taught you and you take it even further if you can, you know?
Well, I think Van Halen's one of those bands that, you know, obviously a lot of the stuff that gets played on the radio and these top, like you said, the top 20s and all that stuff, you know, yeah, obviously they're good musicians and stuff like that, and the songs are great. But Van Halen also had enough technicality in the music, obviously on guitar. Usually when that stuff kind of bled through, the average person was like, what is, you know, they didn't get it. Whereas Van Halen, they were able to, I don't know if it was intentional or whatever it was. Like Eddie never really overplayed. We've talked about this many times where, you know, when you listen to the solos and stuff, like he had ample opportunities to just completely shred, but he always played to the song and what was best for the song.
Yeah, breadth and depth. Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, but they were able to have enough technicality to get the musicians and the snobs to be like, yeah, it's Van Halen, listen to that. But at the same time, not too much where the average listener was like, I don't understand what this is. You know, they were able to ride that fine line, I guess.
I don't think Eddie overplayed because he wrote the songs.
It was, to me, remember, you guys play guitar.
Mhm.
How many times did Eddie do a solo where he made the wang bar laugh? Da, 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 da. And of course, Steve Vai took that up and went even further. Just think about that. Think about Jamie's crying. Da, na, na, Jamie's crying. Wah, wah. How many of us boo-hoo? Da, da,
Yeah.
you know,
He made the
girls
guitar
crying and stuff.
He made it
you know?
talk. Yep.
Yeah, he did what was necessary. But let me tell you, and I have this suspicion, and I won't know until I ask Alex Van Halen, or one of you guys ask Alex Van Halen. Prog, progressive rock, they were very aware. I don't know if Van Halen ever playing a prog song like Genesis, Yes, or whoever. But let me tell you something. Hot for Teacher, the start of Hot for Teacher, that is deadly, deadly close to Billy Cobham's Spectrum, with Billy Cobham on double bass drums, with Jan Hammer on keyboards, and then Tommy Bolin jumping in on guitar. But what Eddie does, and I knew this because my brother accidentally bought Billy Cobham's Spectrum in 1983, and we heard Spectrum, and we wait a minute. I think this is where Van Halen got the idea to do the starting of Hot for Teacher. Huh. And my brother Eloy says, you know what? You're right. The drums and then the synthesizer start of Spectrum, they knew. I have a gut feeling, and I'm just throwing this out in the air. Some people might think I'm full of crap, but I have a feeling these guys were well educated and they had listened to a lot of records. And I know, I have a stupid feeling that they knew, if they knew about Deep Purple and they knew about Richie Blackmore and they knew about Tommy Bolin playing guitar with Deep Purple, they must have known, or they do know, or they did know about Tommy Bolin playing with Billy Cobham, and they had to have heard Spectrum. And that was the impetus to me for Hot for Teacher, hence prog rock. And they could have done it, all of them. Alex Van Halen, damn good drummer. Michael Anthony, spectacular bass player.
What
Eddie,
song?
forget it.
What song is that off Spectrum?
Spectrum, the first one.
The opening track, huh?
Quadrant 4?
Quadrant 4, I'm sorry. Yes,
Quadrant 4?
Quadrant 4, yeah.
Let me
I think they would, and that's dangerously paralleled in a very good way to Hot for Teacher start.
That's
so
the drums. That's the drums.
And the synthesizer.
that's the drum.
That's
Jan Hammer on the synth.
Yes.
Or maybe a guitar, maybe.
And then Tommy Bolin. No, it's a Moog, a mini Moog. And then Tommy Bolin comes in. The way Tommy does the vibrato bar, Eddie knew about that style of vibrato bar. If you guys have ever listened to Tommy Bolin,
yeah,
and Tommy Bolin put together his Stratocasters. He would rip parts up. I knew a guy in Los Angeles who knew Tommy Bolin, and he says Tommy Bolin was like Eddie Van Halen before Eddie Van Halen. He would tear guitars up and put guitars together. So nobody wanted to buy Tommy Bolin's used guitars in Denver because he was putting stuff together to try to find the better parts, to do things like this. So I have a feeling that Eddie knew about, and these are things that I wanted to talk to Eddie about, but I never got a chance. Oh, and by the way, before we end, I did get to meet Eddie once. It was in the PV era. They did a House of Blues thing in Los Angeles on Hollywood Boulevard. And my store was the first store to sell PV in Los Angeles in the 70s. And we got some tickets and we got some real good seats at the House of Blues. And we were sitting there waiting for the whole thing to start. And Hartley, PV, and Melania were up on stage talking. His wife were talking about, and they had already done the 5150 amps, but they were about to demonstrate the guitars and show off the guitars. And
the Wolfgang guitars?
Yeah. Eddie walked by me once, and then he walked back, and then on the third way back, I stopped him. I blocked him. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but he was wearing a little beret, and he was kind of walking kind of quick. And I said, Eddie, and he goes like that to me. And I said, Eddie, my name is Joe Valles, Texas Joe Valles. Me and my brothers play because of you and your brother. And he looked at me, and he didn't really have a smile, and he just nodded and then walked off. And I'm glad I at least told him that, but I wanted to talk to him more, and I wished he would have talked to me more. But, he just, nodded and said cool and walked off. But I wish to God it would have been better circumstances, the Jose thing. That's the only time I met Eddie Van Halen. Only time. And he didn't really even speak a word to me. He just nodded. I think he said what?
Wow.
And I had to repeat in his ear what I had said, you know, but that's
Yeah,
the only time
I just listened to the drum beat. Holy crap, right? It's the ride cymbal and everything, man.
That is Hot for Teacher. And when you listen to Jan Hammer playing the keyboard stuff, think of Steve Vai.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a Roth solo Vai era tune.
Man, that's without a, you know, that's a forgiven of you know, a bygone conclusion. Steve Vai totally knows who Jan Hammer and Tommy Bolin was, but I think the Van Halen brothers had heard that record, and I think Eddie was trying to do that synthesizer kind of vibe when he did the for the start of Hot for Teacher.
It's funny how
that's my speculation, but I think I could be correct. You know, the only one who could verify it is maybe Alex Van Halen.
Yeah, maybe he was learning that drum beat one day, and Eddie was like, "Wait, keep playing that, and you know, who knows? There could be a million different stories of.
But I'd like to extrapolate on that, and maybe somebody knows something. But you know, and I say this only because the Van Halens, David Lee Roth, and Michael Anthony were very, very well aware of prog. These guys were musically rounded rock and rollers, and they could have played prog if they wanted to, but they didn't. Yep. Or maybe they did. Maybe there's a song out there that's progressive, you know. But I think what they did is fantastic. It took rock and roll to another level. It sidesteps prog. It sidesteps most classic rock, you know, southern rock. It just, they're in their own spectrum. They're in their own world. You know? And we all love them for it. We all love them for it, you know. And funk, you know, and all these things, disco. They knew about dance beats. They were very well aware of all these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Oh, Johnny just up and just took off, huh?
I don't know. Maybe he did that. And I thank everybody who's said hello to Texas Joe. It's my first time on here, guys. God bless you all. Thank you. Is that it? I don't know.
No, Johnny will be back in a second. He's probably got a pee. He probably had a pee real bad. Drinking all those Remy LaCroix drinks.
Okay. So where are you based out of, Jay?
I live in Little River, South Carolina.
Wow. So are you close to Asheville?
I don't think I'm close. But I don't know. At least a few hours. I know that.
2 hours?
Probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. I don't know.
Okay. By Texas standards, you're deadly close to Asheville.
Yeah, well, by my standards, that's not close at all.
Yeah, no, in Texas terms, you're close, man.
I'm literally on the state line of North Carolina and South Carolina. Like, I'm in Little River, and then if you drive like 3 minutes up the road is the state line going to North Carolina.
Right. A lot of forests, a lot of hills. How's it like?
No, we're like, I don't know, couple miles from the ocean. So
okay, yeah. Right on. South Texas, I'm right by the border with the river with Mexico, but not even 20 miles away from me is Boca Chica Beach, where, like I said, Elon Musk is, and it's the beach. Yeah. You know, before the rockets were there was beach, and we would all jam out to Van Halen out there on the surf. Somebody would have the boom boxes or the giant car stereo, and we'd be listening to Van Halen out there jumping around in the water, watching the surfers and getting a tan and barbecuing and stuff.
It's a shame. It's a shame about, I mean, I know the internet's great and everything like that for a bunch of things, especially one thing in particular. I'm not going to say what it is. We all know what it is. Yeah. But I mean, music, it's kind of, I don't want to say ruined the anticipation and the excitement of like our favorite bands coming out with new records, but it kind of has. I mean, you know, it's like
there's too much good stuff, too much bad stuff.
Well, and too much of everything now. It's
there's too much steak, and there's too much lobster, and there's too much good beer, and too many good chocolate shakes, and chocolate pie and cherry pie at your table with the internet.
But also, I mean, just as far as streaming, like, you know, we pay for Spotify or whatever, and you know, over the past couple of weeks, a few bands have come out with new records that I love the bands, and I still have yet. There's only one of them that I've actually listened to in the entire way through. Now, if this was years ago with when, you know, you're skipping school for Midnight Madness or just to skip school to buy the CD the morning it came out, I mean, you literally dedicated the entire day, the rest of that day and night, to listening and absorbing and making it like an experience and reading the liner notes and looking at the artwork. Now it's like you just have it on in the background. Like, oh,
you're totally right. You're totally right. I'll give you maybe 5 albums. Number 1, Queen, Sheer Heart Attack. I bought it from a friend of mine, and it was a lot of money. I spent $7 on a brand new Sheer Heart Attack pressing from England for $7. Mm-hmm. And I went home, stopped the world to listen to that record all the way through. Yep. That's 1. 2 in a row. The Cars' first album and the Cars' second album. I bought them on cassette, and I listened to them all the way through. No, 1 on vinyl and 1 on cassette. And I listened to them all the way through. I stopped the world to listen to those records. Another one was much later. The Scorpions, Virgin Killer. I bought it also from a friend in high school, and I went home. I stopped the world. That I had to listen to Uli John Roth, another big hero of mine. I had to listen to him all the way through. I had to listen to the whole record all the way through. Michael Schenker, beautiful guitar tone, man, unbelievable. And the last one that I can remember off the top of my head was at a later date, Yngwie Malmsteen's first solo album. I waited and waited at the shop for it to come out, and they shafted me on that record. I paid like $17, and they sold it to me as an import. I said, wait a minute, this is on Polygram. How can it be an import? No, sorry, it's an import. Come on, man. You're ripping me off, man. It should be $7. Nope, it's 17. Okay. So that means I wasn't going to get a hamburger at the mall. I was only going to be able to buy the record. So I got an Icy and my Yngwie Malmsteen record, and I went home and I stopped the world to listen to that record, the first Malmsteen solo. And that's the last one that I can think of where I did that. But I know there's been others. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Every Van Halen record that came out, I can't remember on those, but I stopped the world to listen to those records all the way through.
Yep.
I can tell you every Van Halen record I got. I can tell you exactly when I got it. I can tell you the first time looking at the cover. I can tell you all that stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got them all quickly. And me and my brothers all 3 of us would sit on the floor or sit on couches, and we just look at each other. And the drum thing, the bass thing, the singing, everything. We loved it all. Oh, man, when Happy Trails came out at the end of the Van Halen Diver Down, me and my brothers were doing those 3-part harmonies. And we passed the test in college, me and my brother with another friend, doing Happy Trails. Our Filipino singing instructor was so taken aback that we did this Roy Rogers song. She gave us an A+ and gave us like Twinkies or cupcakes, to show her appreciation, and he said she thought we got it from a Roy Rogers movie, and we told her we got it from a Van Halen record.
And that was the grades where you went and you got your PV amp, right?
Well, man, it helped.
It was later.
No. That was college. That was college. My first entrance into college, 1983. But yeah, man, can you imagine the effect Van Halen helped me get a good grade?
Van Halen helped me get bad grades.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and then here I am with good grades.
I stopped going to school to listen to Van Halen.
Joe, my father started when I really started getting, especially the heavier stuff, like Metallica and Maiden and Halloween and stuff like that. My father,
I can tell you stories of every single one of those bands.
Well, if I brought a new tape home, before I could listen to it, my dad had to take the cover out and read the lyrics to these things because all of a sudden I started to get bad grades. My parents thought it was because I was listening to like bad music, like devil music and all that crap.
Correct.
And later on, I kind of understood why. I'm like, Dad, do you guys realize that the reason I started getting crappy grades, number 1, I'm an idiot, but number 2, like once I started playing guitar and really getting into music, like that's what I would do if I was going into my room to like do homework or study. I would put music on and just listen to the music. I wasn't paying attention to the schoolwork. Wow. So instantly, I started not like I didn't apply myself anymore because of music. So, but again, back to the whole devil music thing, it's bullcrap. My father would go read the lyrics and they'd be like, this is actually positive like lyrics. Like there's nothing bad about this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Can I listen
Yeah.
to it now?
No, you know what's funny? My parents, we brought the Van Halen records home. We brought Molly Hatchet. We brought Boston, Queen. But because the brothers, were at home, it was Saturday night, and we were jamming at the house, and we're together, and we're not drinking beer, and we're not smoking dope, and we're not getting girls pregnant. They were cool with it.
Yeah,
We're
there
at
you go.
home, we're raising hell. Dad, you know what? This ain't happening. We need a bigger sound system. I think we need about 500 watts. 500 watts. How much is that going to
100
cost?
watts of what?
Yeah, no, he knew what watts were, because the construction business. Well, how much is that going to cost? And I said, Dad, it's going to cost you. Oh, it's going to cost me? Yeah, it's going to cost you like, I don't know, $1,000. $1,000. And you guys are going to use it here and jam with it here? And will you play my music on it once in a while? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. And he would get it for us. God bless my father. May he rest in peace. But because we were brothers and we would stay together and we were jamming, and then the people were coming over to our house, having a fun, having a blast, my parents were cool about it. You understand what I'm saying? In the end, because of Van Halen and us playing and making music, we had a ranch. Remember, guys? We had up to 1,000 people at our ranch partying and having a good time. Everybody was involved. I don't know if it's a Texas thing or a Hispanic thing, but everybody was at our house, at our place. They were safe. My parents were cool with it. Other parents were there. The kids could kiss their girlfriends or whatever. We had 3 or 4 rock bands. My parents were cool with it as long as it was all at our house.
Yeah.
Imagine that, guys. I had that kind of support.
Just
like Jan Van Halen helped his sons, took him around here, there, and everywhere.
Yep.
I heard David Lee Roth's dad would take him around and stuff, but it was Jan Van Halen who drove them around to a lot of this stuff early on when they're young. By the way, so you see the parallels between the Valles brothers and the Van Halens, and the fact that both names have VA in them, it's just crazy, and God bless them. I love them, man. I will always love them. I have nothing bad to say about Van Halen. Just, I wish they would have had one more record in between Van Halen 1 and Diver Down. I wish to God they would have done just one more record, and maybe there is material out there, but that's all I ask. And maybe there is, I just haven't found it. Maybe demos are out there on YouTube. I'm not aware of them. Johnny might know a little bit better. Thank you, Johnny, for those things that you sent me yesterday. But that's my only one wish.
Hang on.
What did Johnny send you?
No, Johnny turned me on to 2 live albums. I wanted the best fidelity live early Van Halen, and he turned me on to Pasadena, and he turned me on to Oakland, was it?
Tucson.
He turned me on to Tucson, turned me on to Oakland, because the 3 weeks ago, the Austin Record Convention, the biggest record convention in America, was held here in Austin, a couple miles down from my house and my apartment. And I picked up Van Halen, London 78, and I love it. But I figured there's got to be something a little bit better. And Tucson proved me right.
Oh, both Pasadena 77 and Tucson
It's
79.
Great, but I think
way better. Dude, so you still have record conventions then?
Absolutely, guys.
I used to go to those. I haven't been to those for years.
I'm religious. When there's a record convention here, a cartoon, books, whatever, I'm very adamant. Guitar shows, all that. And I dress crazy. I'm wearing my most mellowest psychedelic T-shirt. By the way, here's my band's name on there, Valles Flying Machine, in crazy colors. I'm always out there. Yeah, Valles Flying Machine, selfless
awesome.
self-promotion, or selfish self-promotion, however you want to say it. Because I want to sell some records, so I can take you guys out for some barbecue.
Let's do it.
But
let's sell some records so we can get some barbecue.
Yeah, no, guys, I'm already thinking, because of this, there could be here in Texas. I know people with gigantic ranches. We could have a big giant Van Halen con, with like a 3-day stay over or whatever.
Get Rob Johnson.
Yeah, something beautiful and big. Here's another thing I'm going to tell you guys that I've had an idea, and I got it from Brian May. You know how a lot of people want to build a Brian May guitar, and now there's a fever pitch all over the world of people wanting to build and getting it exactly right on the Brian May guitar because him and his father built it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about a Frankie or any Van Halen, party where you have 20 to 100 guys under a big tin shed roof building guitars, and you have all the saws and the power tools and the spray paint, and all these cats get together, girls, and build Van Halen guitars on one weekend. That would be something very cool.
How many fingers do you think we lose?
There's an answer for that. There's steel gloves now that you can use to, there's steel gloves you can use. So if you hit those bandsaw blade, it wouldn't affect you. But
you see the guys with the knives, like with those gloves, and it doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be a beautiful idea, man. Or another thing where, we could get close to the Jose thing and have a bunch of guys modifying amps, all under one roof or all under one, with a giant barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Or the pedals, like Eddie.
I like the barbecue idea.
Yeah, and have a barbecue involved.
Well, skip that stuff and get right to the barbecue.
Yeah. No, guys,
Dude,
I don't know where you all are at, but we have some gigantic barbecues here in Texas. And
I've been there.
delicious.
I've toured Texas. I told you I played. We don't have to get into this right now, but I've played South by Southwest. I've been to their guitar show. That's where I got my 5150 guitar. Was from there.
Right on.
I've had the barbecue. I've played Dallas. I've played Austin many times. Antone's. I've told you.
Yeah.
I know about their barbecue.
Yeah. No, I've always a Van Halen con, indoor, outdoor, with a Titanic, not a big, a Titanic barbecue for everybody.
What about Texas Joe's Van Halen barbecue con?
Man, guys, if I was a millionaire, I'd get Lear jets out to you guys right now, and let's get it going. Let's plan it for next week.
Let's do it. Become a millionaire. Get us some jets.
I gotta sell some records, man.
Everybody buy Joe's record so he can fly Johnny and me out.
and then also there's a lot of things I would love to do. I've always been a humanist. I care about people. I love people. I learned something early on from Van Halen, and later on, when he knew his time was limited, and even till a certain point for a long time, they were very nice people. Very few people that I've ever heard say that Eddie was a dick. The only person that I know of that had a short relationship with him was me. And who knows why? God knows why he does what he does. When I get to heaven one day, I'll get the answer, and maybe I'll meet Eddie and talk to him about it. But the fact that I met Jose and so many people around the Van Halen thing and the guitars and all that is just amazing. The PV people during the PV phase, I got expert, awesome, firsthand information and accounts from people on the PV stuff with Eddie. It's just unbelievable, man. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. The only way I could take it higher now is if I became some kind of touring rock musician that made money and a lot of money, so I can pull all this together and maybe do something cool like you guys. I got millions of good ideas, but these
Only
things
had
take
millions
fire,
of dollars.
Yes, that's what it takes. That's
know.
what it takes. $1 million, and you can make these things happen.
Hey, does anybody?
It's good for everybody.
Anybody in the chat or anybody that watches these, if you're any millionaires watching, let's make this happen. Get me and Johnny a Learjet out to Texas.
We're hungry.
And check this out, guys. I always had an idea. We have a wood here in Texas that a lot of people love for barbecuing. It's called mesquite. And all along the border from Texas all the way to certain parts of California, you find mesquite wood. And it's a beautiful wood. It's a tricky wood to work with. Fender's aware of this wood, but imagine I had this idea when I was a kid.
Hey, what kind of fretboard is that? It's mesquite. I got a mesquite fretboard on this guitar.
Check this out, guys, and I'll turn you on to this. And a lot of people on the Grateful Dead pages know about me about this. I have a guitar like Jerry Garcia's Bolt made out of mesquite wood sandwich. I always wanted to build a guitar like Eddie's out of mesquite wood. Mm-hmm. We could do all kinds of stuff like that. Mesquite is beautiful, to build a guitar, and it comes heavy, it comes light. But I got a million ideas, And Van Halen, man, a lot of what I know is because of Van Halen. It started with Eddie Van Halen, and I thank God
crazy
for
that that's why we're here
yeah.
right now is because of Eddie Van Halen.
My base foundation for the love of music, I started with Kiss. It ignited with Kiss, but not even 6 months later, probably Van Halen, and that was a very good, firm foundation for us. And everything that I could find out about that band and those people, I took it and ran with it. Oh, I wanted to bring this up. A photo floating around of them playing. We lived in Norwalk. When they were kids, they used to play a place in Norwalk that was a bowling alley. And I freaked out.
Yeah.
I had heard this, and people said this because a lot of famous rock bands played there. But when they got, right before they became famous, there was another place in Norwalk that they used to play called the Golden West Ballroom.
Yes.
Okay. Before that, when they were kids, there was a bowling alley. And I used to go to that bowling alley at lunchtime to eat their great hot dogs and their greasy hamburgers. And Van Halen used to play that place. I used to go with my friends. Hey, man, you want a hot dog? This place has the best hot dogs. And we'd go there. An old throwback, late 50s, early 60s bowling alley, but their front restaurant area. And the palm trees that were there in the Van Halen pictures, I saw those palm trees in the 80s. They played there in the early 70s. And I just couldn't believe it. I said, man, I went to this bowling alley. Van Halen played there.
Man, now you got me wanting a cheeseburger. Damn it.
I want barbecue now.
Man.
These guys, Van Halen played at that place. And I saw recently a picture on the internet. Somebody put up on one of the Van Halen pages of Van Halen playing this place, in Norwalk. And I'm like, man, if I would have been here 10 years before or whatever, I could have, I was always in the shadow of Van Halen when I lived in LA. I've lived in Los Angeles between 1988 to 1998. And everywhere I went, I knew people that went to parties, Yeah, man, I went to one of the first parties where Van Halen, and I accidentally bumped into Eddie Van Halen. I wet him with my beer, and he just laughed it off. I went and got him a beer, and blah, blah, blah. And
I'll be back. I got to pee.
Great stories, guys. Great stories. I was always living in Los Angeles. A lot of Van Halen trivia. Beautiful stories, man. The fans would love, and the people that were there were very lucky,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I was just looking for those. I know the pictures you're talking about, Norwalk. I was trying to find them, but yeah, there's pictures of them playing. Eddie's playing the Destroyer before it was striped up.
Yeah.
Before it was painted. It's like, I think it's like the regular, the actual finish of it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I think it was called the Flamingo Bowl or something like that. I could be wrong, but it was in Norwalk. I think it was on Rosecrans, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't Norwalk Boulevard, but it was, I think, Rosecrans, where that bowling alley was in a shopping center. And it hadn't changed since the Van Halen brothers with Dave had played there and Michael Anthony. Matter of fact, I think one of the first shows with Michael Anthony was at that place in Norwalk. And Jan Van Halen had driven him to that place, to that show, from what I understand, or several of those shows, very cool, just unbelievable. Oh, God, I'm just coming up with stuff. I delivered flowers for a famous a flower florist in Los Angeles called David Jones Florists. One of the most exotic, esoteric. I just lucked out. I needed a job, and I answered a phone call to be a driver because I wanted to learn Los Angeles. Huge, crazy city, man. So I got this job in a florist shop, and one day I got to go to deliver tulips to Valerie Bertinelli in like a fishbowl thing, and I got to go up to 5150, but some big burly dude that looked kind of like Kenny Rogers but more power holder greeted me at the door, and I asked him, "Is Eddie here?" And he says, "No, he's not here." And I said, "I would love to see you at 5150 if you give me permission. Would you take me and let's check it out?" I mean, I'm from Texas. I'm working at this florist, and my boss let me bring these flowers up. So it could have been somebody else, but he gave me the chance. And I had trouble finding it because they had taken the numbers off the post to the house. But I got to go to 5150. I didn't get in, but I got to see it, and I got to see the Lamborghinis in the parking. Small house, gigantic studio, Lamborghinis, Eddie's place. But again, I didn't meet Eddie or Valerie. I met this big burly Kenny Rogers looking.
You met
dude.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, this Kenny Rogers looking dude, bodybuilder dude with a Van Halen T-shirt on. You know, and
Was Kenny Rogers a bodybuilder though?
I don't know, but this dude he looked like Kenny Rogers, spitting image, but he was this bodybuilder monster dude, man. You know, but isn't that
he
funny?
answered the door? Like he was there?
No, he answered the gates, and I drove in the van, and the van had a special air condition. These flowers, I mean, it's the summer, it's May or June, and it's very hot in Los Angeles. And you know, if you're not carrying these flowers cold, they'll wilt. And from where my shop was in downtown Los Angeles all the way to Eddie and Valerie's place, that's a drive. So I had to keep them extremely cold, and I had to be very gentle with them. So when we got there, I gave him the Kenny Rogers clone, and I asked him for permission to look if I could see the studio or whatever, if Eddie was there. But he says, no, you need to get going.
Was that him?
Might have been him, yeah. Is that one of his techs, roadies or whatever?
That's Kenny Rogers doing sit-ups.
Oh, okay. He looked like him, but no, he had more gray hair. He had more gray hair. They would know. They'd probably laugh and tell you who it was, but I didn't know who this dude was, you know. But there's those. That's how close I got to Eddie, and yet no cigar. And then the chance I had to meet him, it was just a quick little thing, and I never had a chance again. You know. Did you ever get to meet Eddie?
Yeah,
you did meet him.
I met him 7 years ago. 7 years ago. Met him at a party in Hollywood.
Really?
And I got to spend some time and just joke around with him and stuff, and took some selfies and stuff. And yeah, he was just a normal dude. Normal dude.
What did he let you talk about gear and guitars and shit, or you didn't touch that?
We could have. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't want to bother him, you know, with all that stuff. But no, basically we just joked around and took some pictures and stuff.
Right on.
But
you met him on a good standard, on a good footing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine was just too brief and just seconds, and I never had a chance again. And yet all these things, Jose and going to his house and other things, other people that knew him, you know, Carl Sandoval. I met him. I spent almost the whole day with Carl Sandoval. Talked about Randy. Talked about Eddie. Other people that I knew that spent a lot of time with Eddie. Amazing. Hartley Peavy. Spent a lot of quality time with Hartley Peavy. He's real nice, man. He shared a lot of info on Eddie. Real nice, man.
I met him at NAMM one year. Hartley Peavy.
Hartley was killer, man. Great guy. You know, unbelievable. All I see here is this all people that are listening in?
Yeah, they're chatting.
Some guy said you should have said you were Jack Black and you would have got into 5150. But I didn't know who Jack Black was back then, bro. I would have taken your advice, hook, line, and sinker. Somebody smarter than me. God bless you, Cristiano Gotti. God bless you. My record's available. You can buy it. It's $15. And then I'll try to pull off a Jack Black and get you in. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Is Texas Joe related to Paul? If his last name is Valles, Becerra, or Atkinson Trevino, then yes.
Oh, no.
Those are the two last names, the four last names of my family.
Yeah, Paul is his last name. His first name's Neander. Okay. Neander Paul. That's it.
Yeah, Joe. We've been talking to you, bro. Fret level midnight. That's cool. LOL, Joe. I hope I gave these people some great information. I hope they don't think I'm full of you know what. You know, well, I'm a little full of that too sometimes. You know, I'd be the first one to say, but nah, all this stuff on Eddie, man, is
that's the one thing here. You know, no, we don't. Everything we bring you guys is quality stuff. We love this stuff. We love
I'm amazed at the good vibes that people have thrown out to me, man, and to you guys. It's just but I've never done this before, man. You know, I've never, and I thank you, Johnny, big time from the bottom of my heart. You know,
You're welcome, man.
people have been very cool. It's just amazing. You know, a lot of good vibes. Maybe some tongue-in-cheek stuff there. You know, I don't catch everybody's vibes, but I try to be positive. You know, I try to be cool with everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how it is.
I'm trying to sell records after all. You know, it's just as bad as being a politician. You got to be on good people's good side. You know, it's crazy.
I know.
I was going to ask you, do you guys? Let's talk about some of the guitars. I love the early guitars.
I got a split.
No way, really? One more thing. The Bolt guitar.
Real quick.
Yeah, the Bolt guitar. What do we know about the Bolt guitar? The one that's like a lightning bolt. The star. Where did it come from?
The star?
Yeah, the star.
Oh,
like the random star, like Akira from Loudness and George Lynch.
Are you talking about the Van Halen star?
Yeah, the Van Halen star. I always love that guitar, man.
Johnny can answer that because I don't know much about it. I know what it looks like. I know that he played it.
That one. What did he? Is it a Boogie Bodies? Is it a Charvel? Did somebody build it? Is it a DiMarzio? Because DiMarzio sold those for a while. Those bodies.
John Biel.
Joe, nice meeting you. I'm sure.
Take care, Jay.
I'll see you on here again.
Yeah. And let's talk sometime in private, man, when you have a chance, and we'll. You know, I'd like to know a little bit more about you, and if you want to know some more about me.
I'm kind of boring, so but yeah, that'd be cool.
You can't be boring, man. You're into Van Halen. That's just that's not true.
Johnny, nice meeting you as well.
Good to meet you.
Yeah,
we'll do this again.
I'll see you. We'll meet again tomorrow night at 11ish.
I'll
see you tomorrow.
I can't believe it's already almost a week after the Halloween. Also, I need addresses and names and stuff to send out the Gizmochi packs.
Yeah.
So
yes, anybody that's watching this, if you're one of the winners of the big Halloween show, and if you won something, contact me and Jay and tell us what you or just.
I thought Mancuda had it all figured out. I saw his cousin jotting everything down.
Yeah, I have a whole list, and actually, I was able to get I've got 2 Johnny Beane shirts that I was able to get out to those winners.
Okay,
but
those winners.
But
man, I'm reading some crazy stuff here, Jay. No, it's been a total pleasure, Johnny. I'd like to keep talking with you.
Yeah, you guys keep it going. Nobody leave. Everybody keep watching.
We'll go 10 more. Joe and I will go 10 more, making it even 3.
Let's make it about these people here. You know,
no, forget them. Forget them.
It's amazing what I'm reading here, man. I've never done this before, guys. I love it.
It's amazing. This guy's here. I can't believe it.
Yeah, wow. No, Jay. I'm so happy to meet you, Jay.
You too, man.
Very cool,
Joe. Nice meeting you. And we'll talk sometime soon. I got to split though. Good night, everybody.
God bless you,
Bye-bye. Johnny. I'll see you in 24 hours.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
All right, let me.
Johnny, what a gift, man! Thank you so much for having me on here, Johnny. I'm seeing some of this stuff. Fret Level Midnight. He says, Joe, come live with us Texans in San Antonio, and leave all the non-Texans up there in Austin and their shitty tacos. It's funny that he says that because I know totally what he's talking about, you know. And
there's bad tacos up there.
Let's put it this way. I know where to go in Austin to get real good tacos.
Well, next time I'm there, we'll go.
Yeah, no.
When we're there for the Van Halen barbecue con at your place, we'll get those tacos.
No, yeah. And I know what Fret Level Midnight's talking about. By the way, hello, Fret Level Midnight. Very cool, dude. I love it what you're saying there. I understand where you're coming from, bro. I feel you, believe me. But I'll take you to go have good tacos here in Austin, no doubt. I love San Antonio, though. I haven't even said my Van Halen story about Corpus Christi, and I haven't said my Van Halen story about San Antonio, but we'll get to that some other time.
Yeah.
But look, right here, Holly Lewis, Texas Joe, you were awesome. So positive and uplifting. Really appreciate your stories, brother. Rock on. Holly Lewis, God bless you. That's amazing. You know, thank you so much. You know, so cool. You know, I can't believe all the good vibes people have. Johnny, thank you, Johnny, for putting my ViasFlyingMachine.com, EVH Gear fans. Okay. Thank you, Johnny, for doing that one. That was you, right?
Yeah. That's all.
That's
That's
all
all
night,
me.
all Dave, all night. Can't wait to see Texas Joe again. Awesome guest. Hey, Joe, is Carl Sandoval related to Armored Saints drummer that has the same last name? I don't know that, but Carl Sandoval is in. He's in Los Angeles. He's available. He's on Facebook. Carl can lead you to some very cool guitar things, and he can tell you a lot about Eddie Van Halen, and Randy Rhoads. Carl is a very nice guy, and his brother too. The whole family, I think, is involved in building those guitars. Thank you. We love you, dude. We want you to come back, Joe. Oh, that's Fret Level again. Wow, some good. Some guy says, "Oh yeah, it would have worked." Texas. Wow, that Johnny, this is amazing, man. This is cool. I'm blown away here.
Oh, we love everybody. Yeah, it's I'm
Go ahead,
huh?
Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I've been doing these things for years and years and years, and things are finally getting better around here.
Man, this guy
Thanks
Fret Level
to
Midnight.
everybody watching.
Yeah, no, Fret Level Midnight is able to throw in a pun on a Kenny Rogers song and talk about Van Halen in the same breath. Amazing, man. Some very sharp people. Ed's house was not small. The one that I went to with Valerie Bertinelli was small, but I guess also by my ranch standards from South Texas, it was small. Tulips, Valerie, Texas native, Sharon Wildollar. Yep, very true. Tulips. Somebody had sent Valerie some tulips, and my shop got the order. And my boss told me, you're a rocker. You like Van Halen. These got to go to Valerie. And I go, I'll take them. And it was a long drive from my shop, but I was so excited, But the other guys didn't want to deal with the traffic. I took it, and I was glad I was able to go there.
What year was that?
That was in '88, also the year I met Jose. I mean,
okay.
The first time I went, is Texas Joe really Jack Black? No, but Jack Black would like to be me probably, and have my guitar collection. But anyway, a lot of people have told me that I look like Jack Black, and I'd love to meet him one day. I like the guy. He's excellent actor. He's got a good heart, got a good soul. I'd love to meet him. Texas isn't seceding, not happening. Fret Level. This guy's amazing, man. Fret Level, you're Fret Level Midnight. You're awesome, man. That Golden West Ballroom recording kicks ass. Very different from the late 70s. People are saying some amazing things here. Yeah, it's just it's a trip.
Yeah.
Some people that you have a lot of the people mesquite is awesome, very hard wood, great flavor, man, but it makes good tone for guitars. Mesquite, yes, amazing, man.
Wow.
People are on this, man. Johnny, right on, man. Thanks to you, Johnny.
Yeah,
you're
welcome.
Texas Zones, yes, at Texas Joe. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Thank you, Johnny. This is mind blowing. Very cool vibes, very cool people.
You're welcome. Come back.
Yeah,
come back, man. Like I said, every Friday, like it says up here, every Friday is a Van Halen themed show. Although I do these all the time, so we can book. Let's book another one.
Yeah, Johnny. When you want, you feel free to call me. There's a lot of stuff I want to touch on, but we're gonna go. If you want, we can go very deep rabbit hole stuff. But it's stuff that I think a lot of Van Halen fans would be interested in. But I leave it up to your discretion, because it can get very heavy. But I do know these things, and I gotta bounce it off you first.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny.
Good.
Thank
you.
Alrighty,
Texas Joe. Thank you so much. And then let me just play the the ending. Let me say thank you to our channel members here, and then we can say goodbye off the air really quickly. Thank you so much, channel members. Yeah, we've got a lot of people that support the channel and support these shows, that love this stuff, and we love them. Each and every.
Now I got to thank all these people. Beautiful vibe, man, on your show. Unbelievable. Some good vibes on the internet. Need more of that.
Yeah, because it could have gone horribly the other direction.
But it's Van Halen, so it's positive.
Well, we didn't get into the Roth versus Hagar. That's when it can kind of,
Yeah.
We can do that next time.
But we've all been blessed with the records, man. All of them,
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Even you guys got 3 hours tonight. You got 3 hours. See you guys tomorrow night, Saturday Night Live. Actually, don't hang up, you guys. After I play the ending credits, this video will take you right to tomorrow's video. So smash that thumbs up on tomorrow's video. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, and then again Sunday night.
Can I add one thing real quick?
Yes.
If anybody's interested in following me, we're on Facebook. We have a website. I can get to you quickly, add you as a friend, Valles Flying Machine or Texas Joe Valles. Just Google me, guys. VallesFlyingMachine.com is my website. And Joe Valles on Facebook. Valles Flying Machine is the band. And thank you all. Thank you, Johnny.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. All right. Rock on, everybody. See you guys tomorrow. And drop some comments down below. Drop some comments for us. Where's the ending? All right. Don't hang up, Joe.
Okay.
There it is. There you go. Since 1984.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, it's earlier than that, 81, but yeah.
Nice. All right. Good night, everybody. Johnny Beane TV.